Hey everybody, welcome. I've had a lot of technical difficulties tonight, so we were on StreamYard and that kept fucking up, and so now we're just going straight through YouTube. And this is No Bones About Wrestling, and we're all watching together the 1996 WCW Halloween Havoc. And so I've watched a bit of it already, and there may be some available on StreamYard. So here's what you need to do. You need to go to Peacock, WWF Network, WCW section, then go to Halloween Havoc, then go to 1996, and then get it queued up to, let's see, where are we? 29:05 into the event. 29:05 during the Eddie Guerrero Diamond Dallas Page match. And then we will have a countdown and we'll all press play at once and we'll be synced up so you know what the fuck I'm talking about. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to get there. As I said, Halloween Havoc 96 at the 29:05 mark. All right, and now we're going to restart, I should say. So, as I said, get Halloween Havoc 96 ready at the 29:05 mark. We're going to count down from 5. Then we are all going to press play at the same time and get caught back up. So, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so we got Eddie Guerrero here. Of course, future world champion in a different promotion, taking on Diamond Dallas Page, future world champion in this promotion. Should be a good one here. If you saw the earlier broadcast, you saw Rey Mysterio Jr. lose to Dean Malenko in an excellent World Cruiserweight title match. May have been the only match so far. I can't remember. I've been fucking with all this computer bullshit. So I honestly don't remember what we've seen other than that. But here we are. We're doing it.
Well, they are a family of tradition. None of Mrs. Guerrero.
Eddie has. Oh. DDP got out with the hair pulling. And a kick to the ribs. I'm not sure who the face or the heel was here. This is 1996. Both these guys, very, very adept at working either way, face or heel. And if you're wondering where Kay Fabulous is tonight, she has some things to do. She may eventually join us. She may not. So let's just enjoy this together.
Thank you. I can see that on my monitor as well. And there's it.
And Guerrero takes him down, and we have the evil referee, Nick Patrick, there in a neck brace.
He's in a lot of pain. I have said if he's in this much pain, this big of an event, he needs to stay out of the ring. But he's in there. Maybe the man needs the money. Maybe he's supporting 5 or 6.
I'm not sure if Nick Patrick at this point had been revealed as the NWO, the evil NWO referee or not. But that is eventually what became of him. I haven't seen this show in quite some time.
You better believe I am, and I ain't making no bones about it.
No bones about it. Right from Dusty's mouth. Very good matches, very good card. As I said, we have Malenko versus Mysterio already. We got Guerrero versus DDP. We got Six versus Chris Jericho. The main event even is pretty good. Hogan versus Savage. I know that's not for everyone, but that's your main event. So good stuff here for Halloween Havoc 96. I forget what else there is. I believe Harlem Heat defend their World Tag Team titles against the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall of the NWO. I didn't look up the card for this show because I didn't want to be spoiled, because most of the winners I do not recall who won, and I didn't want to know, so we can all find out together.
One, two, so much.
2 count only for Guerrero as Nick Patrick holds his injured neck.
The man's doing the best he can. Well, then he shouldn't be in there. That's the best he can do. Rain, you've had a serious neck injury. You stayed out a long time with it. You were operated on. Don't tell me you could go in there and referee with a neck brace on if you were really injured.
Well, I had surgery. I don't know if Nick Patrick had surgery. I don't know how bad his neck is injured. But it's injured. You can tell that by the look of the pain on the man's face.
Well, it is certainly.
I will be right back.
As they got an argument going on. First argument I've seen with Patrick and Diamond Dallas tonight. Outside goes Eddie Guerrero.
And that's a bad move for Diamond Dallas, because all Eddie Guerrero's going to do out there is get his win back.
DDP up on top, double accidental blow, and Eddie defenseless that time. He looked up, but he couldn't even move out of the way. So Diamond Dallas in control, and once again, as we are seeing on the outside for the first time, the Slim Jims ring post pads coming into play, not using the ring post, not able to. That time, Diamond Dallas using the steps.
Master of the diamond cutter.
One of the most devastating holes in all of WCW. You're so right about the diamond cutter. What's he calling him? Girlfriend? That's what he's doing. He said that. Diamond Dallas calling Eddie.
See, I know our usual audience probably not able to find us tonight, so I hate that. We're usually on StreamYard,
And it's like what Brent
and
said, a little insult going on here.
here we are on YouTube.
He saw it. Well, he had to. He's right in front of him. I'll tell you what, give him the credit.
So,
He is right on. He's admonishing Diamond Dallas right now.
He's up in his face like he is Guerrero's face.
Look at the mug on him. Look at the face on him. Man's in pain. I tell you, he's calling a good match so far. Which one are you watching?
put on my nice David Taylor jacket here. Cannot recommend them highly enough. Very well fitting, very comfortable jackets. No, this is not a paid advertisement. Just as fashionable as members only. It's David Taylor. And no, this is no relation to Sir David Taylor of WCW fame. Just David Taylor.
And Diamond Dallas very confident that he can recapture the elusive Battle Bowl championship ring. Waistlock pickup. Almost into a backbreaker here. The Gutbuster.
That got him in the rib area.
He's through with him right here, too. Here's a cover. 1, 2. Got a 2 count.
Too nonchalant. You can't pin a Guerrero like that.
Has anyone seen the Battle Bowl ring at all?
No, I never have.
I mean, Diamond says he doesn't have it, although he walked away from the arena in Denver that night.
Yeah, but
Eddie doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Where is the thing?
More important is the Guerrero pride and tradition. We keep using that word.
All right, there we go. Sorry, all the weird camera angles and stuff. I'm not used to broadcasting right to YouTube, so I just shared this to X. So hopefully some of our followers can join us from X. Those who are confused why we're not at StreamYard, because StreamYard kept fucking up.
Eddie covers it. 1, 2, and...
No, 2 count.
Nick Patrick did a good job of getting down that time, and we got shoving going on here.
A referee cannot put his hands on a wrestler. The referee should be fined.
Nick Patrick excoriating Diamond Dallas Page into the corner.
Well, if he was with the NWO, would he be acting like that? No, he would not.
Yes, he would.
He shakes his hand.
Yeah, well, he better turn around, but he's getting ready to get fist to fire right here.
Back and forth they go, and our second bout is Slim Jims. Halloween got it. Right hands. Eddie just absorbed it.
Poked him in the eye.
Over the top to the floor.
He hurt his knee.
He sure did.
Where he pulled a hamstring.
He's got a bad knee anyway from all this years of hard work and everything going on. I know that he's always adopted on that knee. And what a blow he took on it.
Definitely for Diamond Dallas Page here, myself. I don't know who will win,
Waistline picks
but
up
I'm
there.
for DDP. I'm always for DDP.
Backslide, rolls him up, small package one.
Almost always.
No. 2 count that time. And Diamond Dallas kept his balance that time, but second time through he rolls him up. 1, 2. No, we don't have him. Got him by the hair. 1, 2. Eddie rolls him up. 1, 2. How about that?
Of course, putting out his DDP yoga course and helping a number of old wrestlers regain mobility. Scott Hall brought him out of a wheelchair. Jack the Snake Roberts brought him back. Buff Bagwell, he's working with right now. Mick Foley helped him with mobility. So God bless Diamond Dallas Page. Seems like a great guy doing the Lord's work. And yeah, it's very hard to find anyone with a negative word against him.
He deserved every bit of a 2 count on that.
And didn't even become a world champion for the first time until after 40 years old. Very unique story in professional wrestling. And he wrote an excellent autobiography called Positively Page back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I would definitely recommend it. Good stories just about life, about running a bar, about starting in WCW, becoming a star in WCW, meeting Kimberly Page, all that stuff. Great book. You got a good one going here. This Halloween Havoc 96 is paying off so far.
They're not as sharp as they were at the beginning of the match. They're not as crisp. They're not taking a little steam out of them.
Side of the head. Little Keno 10 spot that time. Oh, there's an uppercut.
That's a good point, Ray. You know, just like in a big fight, we got to fight here. Because in big fights, a guy can wear himself out. Dallas has been so much offensively and not been able to put him away. Yes, he could be a wear down.
Here he goes. Up on top. Eddie Guerrero. How about it? Eddie hit hard. He hit his knees on the floor.
Both knees on the cement floor.
That's why we call him high risk.
Now for a while. He hit the back of his head, I think, against that rail.
Hey, Dixon, I'm getting in the ring. You guys better get back there. I'm going to start my 10 count.
That fat kid is really excited about this match.
If that happens, he will retain the mysterious ring.
Yeah, but the ring is not in his possession. As we so astutely said.
1, 2. No, he's on the ropes.
DDP foot on the ropes, the old trick.
Hook 1, 2, and that time only a 1 count.
So I don't know what all this is about the Battle Bowl ring. They used to have a
Gets as far as the
Battle Royal,
comes Eddie again.
yearly, semi-yearly sometimes, and the winner would get this Battle Bowl ring, which was meaningless. And I guess they're fighting over it at this point. I don't know.
Flapjack. What? It's called the flapjack.
Okay.
1, 2, count.
Can't keep those shoulders down.
And he's not having him in a position that they get him in a diamond cutter. And I know that's what he's looking for because he's not in some offense in this match right here. And he's got him in a hurting situation. What?
I said, now's the time I go for the diamond cutter.
He's giving him the sign of the fan.
DDP going for a spinning power bomb, sit out power bomb,
2 and the
2 only.
Okay, now diamond cutter. You got to do it right now.
Much like we saw in the opening bout, Eddie Guerrero, just like Rey Mysterio, just like Dean Malenko, will not give up. He's here for a purpose. Now Dallas having problems with the fans at ringside.
Forget the fans. This is an opportune time to take Guerrero out.
That's right. It's a good point, Ray.
Now slap it on him. Slap it on twice, 3 times. There we go.
Diamond cutter time.
There's your winner.
I don't know. Eddie had his arms down.
Yes, he did. Good point, Tony.
And Eddie may have blocked the impact of that. It's got to be face first. 1, 2.
No, he got it.
Oh, just trying to make the background look a little bit better. And DDP gets the win over Eddie Guerrero. Very good match there. He's got the ring, whatever that is.
Fans across the country have had the opportunity to enter Slim Jim's Halloween Havoc sweepstakes. Appropriately enough, at WCW's Slim Jim's Halloween Havoc, Macho Man Randy Savage, if you will join me at this time for the grand prize drawing, the winner to receive the Randy Savage Slim Jim's Monster Truck.
Oh, yes! Long before the storm, you know, as well as I know, and all these people know, that I got a very important match coming up against Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And I'm going to take the WCW World Heavyweight Championship belt. And, just one favor. Yes, when I pick the winner. So just do me one favor and run over that body just one time. Yeah. And the people that I don't pick, don't be mad at me. Yeah, I'm trying to be copacetic in a political year. You know the deal.
I do know the deal, and Randy, I think the time is here. We have everything but a drum roll. I think it's time to pick a grand prize winner in the Slim Jim's Halloween Havoc sweepstakes. Let's find out who wins the monster truck.
We've got the drum roll. 1, 2.
I'm ready.
I did it.
Very impressive.
Right here, right here.
Now hold on 1 second. We need to make this official. Hold on. This drawing is subject to the winner's timely return of an affidavit of eligibility and a liability/publicity release. Randy, the winner.
On borrowed time. A lot of people out there are looking forward to this. You understand that? Step into it. Feeling warmer. I think I got something. Tell me that's gonna win this because that would be bigger.
And the winner is
Joan McCallick from Romulus, Michigan.
There it is. It's official. Joan Michalek of Romulus, Michigan wins the WCW Halloween Havoc Slim Jim sweepstakes and that Slim Jim monster truck.
You know what? Wow, Joan, if you want to take me out on a date in your Slim Jim's monster truck, because it's really cool, that'll be cool with me.
Thank you very much, Macho Man Randy
One
Savage.
more thing. Congratulations to everybody out there, but snap into it because in a little while, I'm going to take Hollywood Hulk Hogan and break him in half. Happening to dig it.
Tony Schiavone, we understand that for the first time ever, WCW computer users on CompuServe can listen to Halloween Havoc on the internet.
So tonight, this is October 27th.
On the internet, there is our address, WCW.
This is actually the 28th. Today is the 28th anniversary of WCW Halloween Havoc 1996. This very day. And there's a website from 1996. Chris Jericho with some internet nerd.
And he is chatting with fans on CompuServe, member type Go convention, and talk with WCW Wrestlers Live. But unprecedented tonight on the internet, it's a simulcast. First time ever. WCW and a major pay-per-view event. So, it's the information age, gentlemen, and we are all a part of it. Right now, let's go back to Mike today.
And we are back in the locker room area with the newly crowned WCW.
Dean Malenko, the new Cruiserweight champ. Let's see what he has to say with Mike Tenay.
Halloween Havoc against Rey Mysterio Jr. I guess the question has to be at this point, what's in your future as the new champion?
Well, Mike, first things first. You know, a month ago, I had told everybody in WCW and the watchers out there, and especially you, Rey Mysterio, I was going to be more focused than ever when I got to the city of Las Vegas, and that I was not going to leave the MGM building without this Cruiserweight belt in my hands. Now, Rey Mysterio and anybody else who wants to step in line, get a crack at this belt, just take a ticket, wait in line, any chance you want, I'm there for it. This is what I want, this is what I got, and this is what I'm going to keep.
So in other words, an opportunity for a rematch for Rey Mysterio Jr. is something that you would enjoy as well.
Rey Mysterio, it doesn't matter who it is. This is mine. It's going to stay here, and I'll take on any comers that want a chance to take it away from me.
The man of 1,000 holds, Dean Malenko, he's the new Cruiserweight Championship in World Championship Wrestling. And now we understand that we are going to go to a special NWO interview with the Giant. It's up next.
Oh, fantastic.
Jeff Jarrett, I gave you credit.
Oh, we've got Jeff Jarrett versus the Giant later. Yeah, and here's $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
When you refused the opportunity to join the NWO, because the NWO is taking over World Championship Wrestling. And the only way you get in the NWO is by invitation, and you could have been one of the chosen few. You said no. Not very smart. But you know, now I realize that not only are you not very smart, but you're a total fool. Because anybody with a vile line from Ric Flair and make him feel like you're getting some privilege by taking his place, to climb in the ring, to face the most awesome force in professional wrestling today, the NWO's U.S. Heavyweight Champion, the Giant. You, my friend, are a total fool. Even Flair is not fool enough to climb in the ring with this man by himself. And Giant, well, was it, I think the last thing that Jeff Jarrett said to the NWO was, stick it.
And that's pretty good advice when you think about it. Because Jeff Jarrett, I'm going to stick you to the wall. I'm going to stick you to the floor. I'll stick you to the ceiling.
That's a fight for
And when it's all said and done, I'm going to choke slam you right in the middle. When it's all over, there will be no Jeff Jarrett, and there will be no Horseman. Everybody goes to the glue factory.
Wow.
Enough said.
Yes.
Get ready, Jarrett. You're going down.
Visually from their interview location, the members of the NWO, the Giant. Now let me make this point, and we all know it's an obvious point. The belt on his shoulder was not one in the ring. The belt on his shoulder, as you see, is the security guard with him. And I do understand tonight that members of the NWO, heavily security, the security guards heavily around them, and they're going to be ushered in and out of this arena after their matches here tonight.
Well, that's where it is, and I'll tell you what, Brain, bottom line is Jeff Jarrett said, great traditional background, win this thing in the ring, I'm going to meet you out in the ring. All the talking is just about over. Yes, U.S. title on his shoulder is not his serious injury at the hands of the Giant. I think you want to reflect.
Well, in the last couple of weeks, Jeff Jarrett made quite an impressive mark for the WCW. He's beaten two very, very big men, and I don't know what...
Yeah, so we've got the Giant defending his U.S. belt against Jeff Jarrett. Is it now?
The Giant killer, we get ready to find out right here in Las Vegas.
I guess.
Not a United States heavyweight title bout.
No, you know, Jim, I want to say one thing. They were giving that turn away. It took a long time for Eddie Guerrero to get him out of the ring. He was very, very seriously injured in that previous match. And this really sets the tone, I think, for the night right here at Slim Jim's Halloween Heaven.
Why would Nick Patrick even hold the belt up?
Why would he even be in there?
For crying out loud, it is not a U.S. title bout. That belt was stolen from Ric Flair, and Patrick's holding the belt up like he's signifying just to be a U.S. What? Give me a reason.
If the Giant told you to hold the belt up, you'd hold it up.
He probably couldn't hide it in his pocket.
Here we go.
Jeff Jarrett making his way to the ring area.
The Giant taking on Jeff Jarrett here. So the Giant, not the United States champion, he stole the belt from Ric Flair. So this is a non-title match because no one has a belt. And he's taking on Jeff Jarrett, still dressed the way he was in circa 1994 WWF. Let's see, I'll give you 3 guesses how this one goes here. A year ago at the Halloween Havoc 95, we saw the Giant and Hulk Hogan battling with monster trucks on the top of Cobo Hall in Detroit. And here comes the real United States champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Maybe not 100%. He's got a bad shoulder. Gonna have to have surgery then on the shoulder. Gonna keep him down for a while.
It's my boy. That ain't your boy.
Nature Boy Ric Flair is the man that can surely do it. The master of the dirty deeds. Still the dirtiest player in the game.
Well, if I had somebody in my corner besides me, it would be Ric Flair. This man knows every way in and out of a championship match. He knows the way around that ring.
Dude, I just said that. I just ran through that real quick.
I'll be right back.
Here we go. Jeff, end of the night. Things stuck even out here at WCW with a big boy.
Give Jeff Jarrett some credit. He is not at all intimidated by the size of the giant. Little Ric Flair strut to the ring.
That'll get you hurt, turning your back on the giant strut.
He doesn't seem to
All right, just shared this on X. Usually we'll
giant man. This may be a strategy here. There you go. To get him around, use his quickness, Jeff Jarrett. That's what he's
usually we'll display on our account on X. Tonight I've had to do it some weird way, so I don't know who can see us, who can't. But hopefully you join us. Hopefully you tell your friends. And it's WCW Halloween Havoc 96. So we are on match number 3 here. And if you're just joining us, we are at... Well, let me figure out the fucking button.
We seem like we got a game plan. We seem like we know what we're doing. And we seem like we're not going to let some people kick our tails and leave us playing. Not tonight.
Let's see if that.
Alright, if you're just joining us, we are at 54 minutes and 47 seconds into the show. If you want to join us,
That's right. He was doing the right thing, Tony, by staying away from him, doing his dancing, doing his walking, hitting him occasionally. Trying to
Giant just tossing
And once you
Jeff
get
Jarrett around.
grabbing a headlock from the Giant, this ain't gonna work here in the atmosphere we are in here tonight, right here in Las Vegas, in the middle of the desert, as the fight goes on.
You got back to just as bad how to have that big man make a mistake. And when he makes a mistake, you got to get him down. When he gets down, you just got to kick his ears in.
Encouragement by the Nature Boy Ric Flair from ringside, and Jarrett caught the blow. But there he goes, using the quickness again. Shoulder block's got the big guy caught in there. He is guaranteed, as Jeff Jarrett, that he will not get chokeslammed. He didn't get chokeslammed, but he got beat over the heavens that time.
The way wrestler, you change a couple light bulbs.
What? Yeah, I don't know.
And of course we have the crooked ref, Nick Patrick, still in his neck brace. I forget how he got the brace. I forget how he got injured. But there he is.
I just said that.
Well,
That's the great thing about you guys working together. We have it in stereo.
Have an English and a Kyle Pastor.
it can't pass it.
And a right hand, Jeff Jarrett. Now Jarrett.
So folks, hopefully you're enjoying yourself on this Halloween Havoc
450 pounds.
watch along, and for those of you who are watching later, hopefully you're enjoying yourselves as well. I know most of our viewers actually watch these later, so thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate it. Things got fucked up at the beginning of the broadcast, had some technical difficulties, but things seem to be going well now, so here we are, hopefully for the rest of the event. And I'm going to try and sort those things out before AEW Weekly on Tuesday night at 7.
He's been right in everybody's face. He's been calling it fair and square. But the Giant is staggering.
Wait, actually, we'll see. There may be a World Series game on Tuesday. So as I said, throughout October, pretty much till Election Day, our schedule is going to be a little different than usual. And after the event tonight, I'll try and post what our schedule is going to be like. And after Election Day here in the U.S., November 5th, things should get back to normal for us. But until then, we'll be doing fewer watch-alongs, and we'll probably be changing the date of AEW Weekly several times. But just bear with us. We'll still have fun, and I'll give you notice for all those changes. Jarrett gets his foot on the rope, saves himself from the Giant. And here comes the U.S. champ, Ric Flair, with a steel chair, and he thinks better of it.
He was in the ring with the big bad
Elbow to the kidney of Jeff Jarrett. Oh, headbutt to the nutsack of Jeff Jarrett.
That's what he said. And Jarrett,
Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000
well,
words.
you're not kidding. Into the ropes and a side pickup. Into a backbreaker. And right now, Jeff Jarrett is in major trouble.
Don't bend that way.
No one does.
He does now.
So big and so powerful. This giant, this member of the NWO.
And this is unrelated to this show, but very soon we're going to have, we get the AEW All Elite crates. So very soon we're going to get a review of the latest All Elite crate. We're going to open it, and I have no idea what's in it. I know there's 2 t-shirts, and
And Ric Flair commanding the attention of the
2 t-shirts you can only get in the All Elite crate, and past that, who knows what's in it. So we'll be doing that video very soon, in the next couple days here. Before Dynamite on Wednesday, for sure.
defend the title, so there's going to have to be a decision made about a new U.S. champ. It's not the Giant.
Put him in midair right here. This is a bad place to be if you're Jeff Jarrett.
Pick up. Backbreaker. Didn't hit him that hard with it.
No, but he didn't let him go either. I think he's got intentions on doing some bodily harm.
I'm consulting my PWI 2000 Wrestling Almanac and Book of Facts. Very handy. I recommend buying it if you care about 20th century wrestling.
Jarrett, I don't think he expected a fight like this out of that man.
When Jeff Jarrett is taken to the limit, he's hung in there with him right there. How can you stand a slug like that behind your neck? Hats off to Jeff Jarrett, brother, coming in, really trying to put on what I think is the most powerful, awesome force in the NWO.
Well, this is weird. Based on the card I'm looking at, we may have had 2 matches edited out, because we got 2 skipped, and then went to Giant versus Jeff Jarrett. We were supposed to have seen Lex Luger versus Arn Anderson, and also Chris Jericho versus Syxx, best known as the 1-2-3 Kid or X-Pac. And we've skipped those and gone to the Giant versus Jeff Jarrett here. So who knows what's up? Maybe we'll see those next. I don't know.
But if the Giant wants it to happen, he'll make it happen.
I will be right back, folks.
A lot of pressure, a lot of pain Jeff Jarrett's going through right here. Almost as much pain as Nick Patrick is going through with that neck brace around his neck.
Jeff Jarrett.
You gotta bite, you gotta scratch, you gotta bite, you gotta use something to get this guy off his feet.
It's the ropes. Jeff with a quickness to the leg. Jeff tried to jump. That was on target, but the guy didn't go down. That one was too. Look how high his feet are getting. He's gonna pick up. He tried 1, 2. You got his shoulder up.
What a wall we got going here, what a fight. Jeff Jarrett, yes. Jeff Jarrett, the kick out of that thing, I guarantee you, hats off to him.
He got the feet up. Jeff Jarrett ahead of Steve, right hand below the chin.
He's rocked him.
Can he get him down?
Play the Giant Steel's starting to move empty.
Legs handle still won't
There
go.
you go.
Still on his feet though, but he's wobbly. One more time.
Can he get him down?
Be careful. Be careful.
Here goes the Giant. 1, 2.
He's got a lot left though.
Get up.
I guess he does.
He's got a lot left.
Jeff Jarrett got to get up and get back on it quick. He's got him down right there. Going for the figure 4. The Giant is down. Going for the figure 4.
The legs are too big, Dusty.
What we're going to see.
Just pushes him out. The Giant pushed him out. Ric Flair had gone to the other side to try to encourage Jeff the other side of the ring, but now the action's on the near side here. There's Flair circling around, and there's 3 there, and there's Jeff Jarrett, nowhere to go. Can he move? Yes, he can. The Giant, I think,
He's out right there. Boy, I don't know how he's going to get him in the ring because they can't beat him out there. He's putting the figure four right outside, Tony. Figure four's on.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea because he can't get up.
Look at this. He reached across and grabbed him.
That's what he did to Flair.
That's right. He's going to choke slam him, and Flair is headed up.
Boy, Flair needs to watch out. He's seriously got a serious injury.
Right in front of Nick Patrick.
That was a low blow, and that's going to end this match.
And I'll tell you what, they need to walk on him, baby.
Here come the Horsemen.
Here they come.
Benoit, McMichaels, and Anderson. It don't get any tougher than this.
And the Giant is going to win this match. They're daring to come to the ring. I think this is all tip on it. Let's see how tough the NWO is right now. When the odds are against them, I can tell you what the answer is. Not so tough.
What a battle Jeff Jarrett put up against the Giant.
Jay's coming.
Come on, Giant. Get back in the ring.
Turn around
Yeah,
now.
you know what 5-on-1 is like. Get back in the ring.
I can smell it, boys. I can smell it.
You know, you can say what you want about Jeff Jarrett. He came on, put up a heck of a fight. From the minute that bell rang until right now. And still, I think the Giant had him. Look at Flair. Comes up from behind. Taps the big man. Up. Excuse me, it's that bad elbow. Kicks in. It's just a reflex.
Yeah, they're good.
I'm glad. And there you see from another vantage point.
The Giant has nowhere to go. He can't go forward. He can't go back. He's in too much pain. Horseman style, may I add.
Well, you see the four horsemen out there, Jeff Jarrett. I guarantee you one thing, they were loaded tonight, they were ready, Bobby the Brain and Tony. I guarantee you something special is getting ready to happen here tonight at Slim Jim's Halloween Havoc right here in Las Vegas. I can smell it.
I can feel it.
WCW feeling very good about itself right now. You know, I'm not so sure.
All right, the Giant picks up the win by disqualification when the Nature Boy interferes on Jarrett's behalf.
Have the table turned on them and having the odds going our way. With that, let's go to DiBiase.
Well, the way I see it, that's one mark in the win column for the NWO tonight.
That's what I thought he
We'll
said.
take it any way we can get it. Horseman, you knew that was the only way that Jeff Jarrett would climb out of that ring alive. Well, it's 1 down and 3 to go. Chris Jericho, you're next. We'll take nothing from you. You're a fine athlete. Great speed, great agility. You're a great athlete, but you're a great athlete that's at the right place at the wrong time. But you're going to get a chance to get better tonight, because the only way you get better is by climbing in the ring with the best. And you're climbing in the ring with the best cruiserweight when you climb in the ring with 6. Tell him 6.
Bottom line, Chris Jericho, you're a fine young athlete, but tonight you will be crucified for the sins of WCW, pal. The cruiserweight title will soon be in the hands of the NWO, and the NWO, as everybody knows, is for life, baby!
If the NWO says it, you can take it to the bank. Go get him, 6.
All right, so 6 is making his way from the NWO entrance, which is up around the mid-game level here of the MGM Grand at Garden Arena. And 6 making his first pay-per-view.
I tell you what, there's a lot of people standing around here, Tony. There's a lot of things going on here.
Once again, heavily guarded.
This 6, this man right here, you may not like it, you may not like it.
So a couple minutes ago, I said that United States champion Ric Flair is the one who accompanied Jeff Jarrett to the ring. I was wrong. Let me correct myself. Ric Flair was stripped of the title in September 1996 due to a shoulder injury. So the Giant had the physical belt, but no one was the actual champion. So the Giant versus Jeff Jarrett had nothing to do with the U.S. title. Eventually, they had a tournament, which came down to Eddie Guerrero and Diamond Dallas Page. That was in December of '96.
I think it also shows you where his brain's at. He's going to get in the ring with 4 horsemen and Jeff Jarrett. Not me. He won the match.
And Eddie Guerrero beat DDP, Nashville, Tennessee, December 29th. That was probably at Starrcade. Eddie Guerrero won the United States title. All right, folks. So if you're just joining us, we are at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 13 seconds into the show. Thank you for joining us for Halloween Havoc 96. And right now we are getting ready to see 6 former WWF World Tag Team Champion, former WCW World Cruiserweight Champion, NWO member, and he is taking on Chris Jericho, who I believe had been the World Cruiserweight Champion at this point. And this will probably be the best match, or the second best match of the evening, I believe. Chris Jericho, babyface here. Not a ton of support. But Chris Jericho maybe quite at his peak here. And you could probably say the same for 6. So this ought to be a damn good match here.
Something will happen. You watch. They got a plan. A big plan.
All right, a good look at the big plan of 6. Here we go. 6 and Chris Jericho. Jericho, of course. There, look how coolly he steps away from 6.
Yeah, he's not going to be intimidated by this guy.
Not at all.
No, he came here to do business.
Hook up, waist lock. How about that? Took him over almost like a dragon suplex. Just belly to belly him over. 1, 2, 1.
Hey, Robin.
Patrick.
Wow.
I had to change the address of the feed.
6.
Please go on X and retweet it.
Feeling out period here early on.
That's spelled SYXX.
Thank you for the spelling, Brain.
Don't mention it.
Side headlock applied. Now keep in mind, this is the first match in this telecast, or actually the second match in this telecast, that he made a flow against WCW. Earlier we saw members of the Horsemen, but where were the Outsiders? Hulk Hogan? How about DiBiase and Vincent? Where would they appear in this match if 6 gets involved? Oh, would they?
I wouldn't doubt it.
6 couple through, Jericho up on top. Look at
And this match is starting off at a hot pace between 6 and the Lionheart Chris Jericho. And there's Conan and Kevin Sullivan in the crowd, and Ray Traylor, formerly known as the Big Boss Man, in there as well. Big Bubba, apparently he is known at this point.
And watch this thing unfold right here. That's what right there by Jericho.
this being an NWO versus WCW match. It's good to see.
Nice monkey flip by Chris Jericho. Nice match going here. Arm drag on 6. As I said, this may be the match of the evening here for Halloween Havoc 96.
Once again, that's like having DiBiase out there. I believe that's my own personal take on it.
And I didn't think so first, but I would tend to agree with him right now, Dre.
Well, knowing Kevin Sullivan, you say something's going on in his mind and it's not happy. It's not going to be pleasant for somebody. You know, with Conan and Big Bubba out there.
Jericho going after 6's left shoulder there.
Bad for somebody.
Both of these men, two of WCW's premier cruiserweights at this point.
Like a slap shot from his
Whoa.
father.
And 6, I learned today, has not smoked pot in 7 months.
Of its own.
So good for him, you know.
Well, as Wayne
Kind of puts you in a haze, you know. Some drugs are good, some are bad. I think pot's not one of the good ones, you know. It takes your ambition, makes you feel okay to be lazy. Of course, you know, for medicine, for some people, it's fantastic. But just to do it and sit around, I don't know, that's not a great thing. And, hey, but that's just me, to each his own. But that's just my opinion on it. So good for 6, Sean Waltman, for quitting smoking pot, which he did for decades.
Didn't get him good. Half inch the other way could have been all for 6.
Yeah, but he's staying right with him, going to roll him back in.
And this is our second WCW versus NWO contest of the evening. The first one, the Giant defeated Jeff Jarrett by disqualification when Ric Flair attacked the Giant. So 1-0 for the NWO. And right now we have NWO member 6 taking on WCW member Chris the Lionheart Jericho. Of course, this is about just under 3 years before Jericho went to that other promotion and became a huge deal. And WCW really squandered Jericho's talent. Probably the biggest, probably the biggest muff in WCW history was letting Ric Flair go to WWF. Probably the second biggest muff in WWF history was, well, I'll say number 1, Hulk Hogan. Probably the second biggest muff in WCW history, Ric Flair to WWF. Probably the third biggest muff in WCW history. I'd probably say letting Chris Jericho go to WWF. Yeah. So welcome, folks. If you're just tuning in, we are at 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 37 seconds into the show, with 6 holding Chris Jericho in a chokehold or sleeper lock here. So feel free to join in with us where we are here. You can always, catch up with us, whether you're watching this live or taped. There's Conan, Kevin Sullivan, and Big Bubba together. I do not remember the reason they're together, so we'll see. Yeah, we've had some very good matches here. Rey Mysterio lost the Cruiserweight title to Dean Malenko. DDP beat Eddie Guerrero. The Giant beat Jeff Jarrett by DQ. That was okay. Now this pretty good match between Syxx and Chris Jericho. And they called him Syxx, SYXX, because he was the 6th member of the New World Order. Oh. Nice elbow drop by Syxx there. And of course, he may be better known as the 1-2-3 Kid in WWF, known as X-Pac in the WWF. Nowadays known as Sean Waltman, if I'm correct. Formerly known as the Lightning Kid in the WWF as well. So a lot of names, but a very good talent. One of the best cruiserweight talents in the history of wrestling, I would say. I'd say people in the 90s much better at selling than we see today, either in the bigger federation or in AEW. Or TNA for that matter. Bam! Jericho with a nice springboard plancha onto Syxx. Great match we have going here. Man. And I'm not sure who wins this match, but I'm certainly for Chris Jericho. He's still wrestling in AEW in prominent positions. Just had a match Wednesday for the Ring of Honor World Cruiserweight title against Mark Briscoe. I've not watched Dynamite yet, so no spoilers, please. But I'm looking forward to that match. But yeah, Chris Jericho lent a lot of credence to AEW when they first started. That's really what made me pay attention. It was Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. I was like, oh, whatever. And then the news came out that they signed Chris Jericho to AEW, and I was like, holy fuck, I think they've got something going here. And they did. And 5 years later, we've got probably the number 2 or number 3 biggest wrestling promotion in the history of the United States. Either WCW or AEW, depending on how you count things. Jericho, bam, lion salt to the back of 6. He stacks him. Nick Patrick, very slow on the count there. NWO ref Nick Patrick. Jericho misses twice. 6 misses. Springboard plancha. 1, 2. 2 count only by Nick Patrick. And Chris Jericho obviously getting frustrated. What the fuck? I went to let the dog in, and 6 won the match. So 6 picks up the win over Chris Jericho in a hard-fought match after a fast count by Nick Patrick.
Okay, great. Now that was my part, now you do the other part. Well, he was trying to get up in position to get a better count. The man's doing the best he can. The man's injured. Watch this now. 6 goes to the count.
Excellent match between these two. Here we go, Lex Luger, one of my favorites of all time. Very underrated wrestler. People diss on him, but I don't get it.
Really didn't need to come down to this. But Arn, you wanted to start pointing fingers. You wanted to lay the blame for War Games, so be it. I said I'd accept the blame. That wasn't good enough for you, so you had to throw down the gauntlet. You planted the seeds, Arn, and now the crop has harvested. It's not a garden of flowers, it's cactus. It's thickets of things that you'll never want to see from Lex Luger, because Arn Anderson, you questioned my intestinal fortitude, you've questioned my courage, you've tested everything and questioned everything that I stand for. And now, Arn, you're going to see a total package that you've never seen before.
So if you're just joining us, we are at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 28 seconds into the show. Lex Luger promo going on here.
I'm going to say it one more time. It didn't have to come this far. I'm not only going to beat you, I'm not only going to rack you, but I'm going to take you out and I'm going to hurt you.
The time is here. Let's go to the ring and Dave Penzer for Lex Luger and Arn Anderson.
And how about that? The total package Lex Luger means business here, Brain.
Well, you know that hairstyle, he reminds me of a very famous person, a movie star.
Let me guess, Brad Pitt.
No.
Fabio.
No.
Who?
Kind of like Phyllis Miller.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
So here we go. We got former world champion Lex Luger taking on 4 Horsemen, former world television champion, former half of the tag team champion, several times, the Enforcer Arn Anderson. So it should be a good one. I have not seen these two face off very much.
not do it 2 times, but did not give up and finally wrecked that big 300-plus-pound guy.
Yeah, but I tell you what, guys, you know, we go back and I have spent time off the Lex Luger bandwagon. I will admit that. But what is he going to tell me when we prepare for this thing, knowing that right now we haven't mentioned the guys
Lex Luger coming out looking amazing.
deal with this
Of course,
contractor, if you will.
because of the massive amounts of steroids and other drugs he took during the 80s and 90s and early 21st century. His body is a shell of its former self. He is bound to a wheelchair now. Very sad story. Used a like a sex drug, GHB, I believe it was, with Miss Elizabeth, and Miss Elizabeth died from it. Let's see, rewind to 89. I like the orange shirt. It reminds me of the GOAT Taz. Here's my Taz super fan. Yeah, it's an orange Grateful Dead live shirt from Berkeley, California. I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, and their bassist a couple days ago, Phil Lesh, founding member, he just died. So, kind of honoring Phil Lesh. And if you don't know the Grateful Dead, just do yourself a favor. Go and look into their catalog. Go on YouTube. There's a ton of stuff on there. And just sit back, enjoy yourself. Sad year, said Eric Tate. Yes, it is. This year has fucking sucked. For my reality, for celebrity deaths, for politics, for world peace, for all of it. 2024 fucking sucks. I think we can all agree. We've only got, like 8 more weeks of it left. And then it's goodbye. So fuck it all. Let's end it. And K Fabulous there, my usual co-host, said, preach. And, yeah, can't wait for this year to be over. But enough negativity. We are here watching Halloween Havoc 96 together. Arn Anderson trying to get the advantage on Lex Luger. Irish whip into the corner. Arn Anderson, one of the toughest guys in the history of wrestling. Met him several months ago. Not the friendliest guy in the world, but he did sign an autographed picture for me and took a picture with me. So that's all I really asked for. So nice enough in that regard. He had his mind on other things. The show was about 5 minutes from starting. We went to see it at an AML show here in North Carolina, and the show was about 5 minutes from starting. He was managing his son, Brock Anderson. So I think he had bigger things on his mind than taking photos with strangers. But I got one anyway, and you can probably barely see it right there. There's Arn Anderson back in the day with the NWA World Television title. Here we rotate the Eric Tate. Was this Arn's final match? No, it was not. Unless I'm dreadfully wrong. No, it was not. We will look that up and be sure, though.
I smell napalm.
I hear Kevin Owens' voice be very distinctly at ringside saying, there you go.
I know he's fairly injured at this point, so could possibly have been his final match, but I really don't think so. I remember him wrestling even in 1997 and 98, so let's see if I can find some sort of record of that.
That man right there, Kevin Sullivan, along with Conan and Big Bubba, have the hatred they have for the Four Horsemen.
But after the power slam, Lex chose to punish on rather than put him in the power.
Well, he's going to really try to break him down, because I guarantee you one thing. He wants to hurt, send a message to one-eyed Anderson.
That's not a bad move here. He could rack him and end it right now. He wants to make sure.
Man,
He wants to
is
supplement
that,
this
is
match.
that a parakeet in here? That's what I said. You always come back.
Well, I'm going through, I'm all the way up to uncensored March 1997, and I am seeing no mention of an Arn Anderson pay-per-view match. So, as I said, I don't believe it was his final match. This is looking like it might have been one of his final pay-per-view matches, though, but I swear he was still wrestling in 97, 98. Just not in a very big role, very important role.
Great move. And Anderson may pay. Oh, this one.
I'll tell you, this is the Arn Anderson I'm used to seeing.
I don't know, so who fucking knows? I'm to Bash at the Beach, July 1997, and I still see no mention of Arn Anderson on a pay-per-view. Like I said, I swear I remember seeing him after 1996. So I will at some point look into this. Very interesting. Very interesting suggestion there. If it's not his final match, it seems like his final match on pay-per-view. Because now I'm up to Halloween Havoc 97. And again, I'm not saying Arn Anderson. So fuck it. It might have been his final pay-per-view match. That's a good eye out there.
I don't think Arn Anderson can win this match right now.
The spine buster was on target for double.
Damn. So we better enjoy this one. I was not aware of that, so that's a good call. I will be right back in this Lex Luger Arn Anderson battle.
He's having trouble walking around.
Anderson is shoved him outside, and now Luger's hurt.
I tell you what, when you go back and you look at tradition, Tony, and the history that has went on between Horseman, Dungeon of Doom guys, but history between Arn Anderson and Lex Luger, that's all tradition. It's all history. This fight just didn't come about here on the desert just out of Brooklyn. This fight is brewed for a long time, and we're seeing it really take its toll, Tony, on both men.
That shows us smart Arn Anderson. He turned the table on Luger. Bad as his back is hurt, he's going to hurt Luger's back. But there's no way Arn Anderson, in the back of his mind, is going to allow Lex Luger to pick him up in that torture rack and stretch his spine.
Tony, I asked you a question, and Bobby went off on the tirade. Yes, about the tradition and everything that's been between these two guys here, and we're seeing it. I told y'all about it when I said Boola Boola. I don't know where Boola Boola is. You never seen that. You never. Boola Boola ain't no place. It's like something that just happened. Buddy Holly told his girlfriend that one time. She said, "I'm going to school. You ain't going with me." And he said, "Well, Boola Boola." That's where I got that from.
All right, Arn Anderson trying. Yeah, he's just so sometimes, actually. And trying to bring him back in here.
All right, sorry about that. Just me tonight. So if I have to go get a drink or use the facilities, there's no K-Fabulous to bail me out. She may be joining us later. Hopefully she does. But for right now, it's just me. So if you've got comments about WCW, or about the careers of these WCW wrestlers, or about Halloween Havoc, or you got questions for me, feel free. Let's have some fun and talk about some stuff. Excellent show so far. We had Dean Malenko win the World Cruiserweight title from Rey Mysterio Jr. Amazing opener. We had DDP beat Eddie Guerrero. Great match. We had the Giant beat Jeff Jarrett by disqualification when Ric Flair interfered. Decent match. We had Syxx beat Chris Jericho. Excellent match. And right now we've got Lex Luger and Arn Anderson. Slower paced match, but I'm enjoying it. Nice, good old-fashioned wrestling match.
Dean knows every trick.
It's great to see a referee the caliber of Mark Curtis step into WCW, a reluctant newcomer, but pick up the slack dropped by Nick Patrick, who, if you ask me, literally...
And as I mentioned before, Lex Luger now relegated because all of his drug use, steroids and GHB and whatever the fuck else, is now relegated to a wheelchair, sadly. And let's say good old-fashioned Southern WCW match, says Rewind 89. Very true. And we saw fewer and fewer of those in 1996. But both of these guys were old hands in WCW at this point. And, we're telling a story here. We're seeing two men take it to each other. DDT by Arn Anderson. Luger kind of blocked it there. Two men just wearing each other out, getting sweaty. Audience doesn't know who's going to win. Two of the best ever to do it. Just a great match. Just a great straight-up wrestling match here. And Lex Luger, he gets some bullshit sometimes. I don't get it. He's one of my absolute favorites. He can work against anyone. Good repertoire of moves. Very strong guy. I mean, he's roided out completely. So very strong guy. And good acting, good selling skills. So when people diss Lex Luger, just forget that bullshit. He was one of my favorites from when I started watching wrestling in 1993. Rewind says, some man-on-man sweaty action, just the way I like it. Yeah, me too, man. See two men battling it out. I love to see two women battling it out. The women usually don't have, I love women's wrestling, but the women don't usually put in enough effort to where they're both sweaty. Because I would love that. I'd much rather watch two sweaty women go at it than two sweaty men. But of course, let's be honest, the women's matches are not as good as the men's matches. Now there are exceptions, of course. There are plenty of women's matches that are better than plenty of men's matches. But on average, the men's matches are still much better than women's matches. Yeah, let's see some sweaty women going on. I'd love to catch some more of Stardom in Japan. That looks very interesting to me. I only have so much time. We watch these retro wrestling events. We watch AEW several times a week. We do the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Sometimes we do the TNA pay-per-views. So we just got a lot of wrestling going on. Nothing beats two half-naked, sweaty professional wrestlers getting down and dirty, in my humble opinion, says Rewind. I agree with you. It's a fun time. All homoerotic tendencies aside, I'm a pretty straight guy. Of course, there is quite a bit of homoeroticism to half-naked men touching and sweating all over each other. But, I just put it out on my mind, really. And there's the torture rack, and Lex Luger has defeated Arn Anderson. But, of course, if you want to see it, yeah, plenty of homoeroticism in wrestling. Rewind, am I a gay guy? That's what I would prefer. That's fine, too. Yeah, to each their own. Whatever entertainment you get out of wrestling, great. Because we all get different things out of it. So, yeah, whatever you enjoy, good for you. Good match there. Good match.
Well, he said when he left the dressing area, he was going to get Arn Anderson. He said he was going to pick him up and put him in that torture rack. He also said he's not going to let go. And he also said that Arn Anderson was going to be in a lot of pain and he was going to hurt him. And he did all that. That's a Lex Luger like I've never seen before. And there in that man laid, emotionless, Arn Anderson. This man is in trouble. Serious trouble.
Sometimes, guys, you react in a reaction situation. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow.
So yeah, here come a couple of the horsemen. Who we got? Ric Flair. Who was that? Is that Jeff Jarrett? Who the fuck is that? Is that Jeff Jarrett? And so, folks, thank you for joining us and for finding us. We had some technical difficulties in the first half hour of the show, and I finally got pissed off and just changed from where we were broadcasting. And I'm glad you found us. And please share the link around with your friends, with other, common viewers. Put it on X, put it on wherever you do, so that our fans can find where we are, because we're broadcasting away from our usual site, so we can have this stream uninterrupted. So I don't know what was wrong with StreamYard tonight, but it didn't want us to put on the show. But here we are on YouTube, and things are going well. So please share it around. And for those of you who are new, we are at 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 2 seconds into the show. And Arn Anderson getting stretchered out after Luger's torture rack. And there's a welt on Anderson's left shoulder there. Hematoma, perhaps.
Tony, thank you very much. Well, fans all around the world have been waiting to see a particular interview. I've got that coming up. But I also want to remind everybody the greatest wrestlers in the world are right here. But a man that is quite obvious by his absence, the man called Sting, the most well-known free agent in all of professional wrestling. What's going on with Sting? Well, to find out, call the WCW hotline, 1-900.
Don't call the number, people. It's no longer active.
You need to know about Sting. Calls are $1.49 a minute. And kids, don't forget, get your parents' permission before you call. But
God damn it.
Right now, coming up in the Slim Jim's Halloween Havoc, the WCW Tag Team Championship of the World is going to be contested. The man who brought this team together, the woman who managed them so successfully. I'm talking about Harlan.
You coming to join me?
I know you know a lot about getting horses ready for a race. I hope you
What?
got these guys ready to defend these belts.
Come join me.
I see the worst bunch of bad eggs put together than this NWO, these outsiders. You're desperately needing reprimanding, and tonight you're going to get it by the world's tag team champion. WCW can be very proud tonight because you're riding on the coattails of the greatest team in all the world, the Harlem Heat.
Let me get to Sherry for a second. Sherry, you know that any team can beat any team on any given day. This has got to be Harlem Heat's day.
This is going to be Harlem Heat's day. This is what Harlem Heat lives, eats, and breathes for. NWO, you had the audacity to stick your nose where it didn't belong. Well, you wanted some of Harlem Heat? You're going to find out what hurt really is.
Let's find out what's on the mind of these men.
Shut up, man. Like our great football teams, everybody has a position. I'm at the running back, big brother here at nose guard.
I'm back.
Quarterback. And the colonel put this whole thing together. NWO, a couple wannabe thugs. When you walking across 110th Street, and me and my brother, guess what?
Fake or real Eric they made. I missed that. Fake or real Eric they made money, and I missed that. Sorry.
Everybody is ready and back. Let's go to the ring for more great action.
There's Colonel Robert Parker leading Harlem Heat. And here's their manager pretty much from the beginning. And at the beginning, they were not Booker T and Stevie Ray. They were Kane and Cole. And in their first couple appearances, they were held in chains by Colonel Robert Parker as though they were slaves. Which even in the 90s did not fly. That did not last long. Probably one of the most poor taste angles that WCW ever did. And that's going a long way. And then very shortly after that, they became Booker T and Stevie Ray. And so here go the Faces of Fear, Ming and the Barbarian, accompanied by Jimmy Hart. Who are we taking on? We got Steve McMichael and the Killer. Well, the master of the Killer Crossface, Chris Benoit. Of course, one of the 20 best wrestlers of all time.
Nature Boy Ric Flair at his side, and now these two guys facing two monsters of the Midway, if you will. And McMichael knows a lot about monsters of the Midway because he once was one.
Steve McMichael, what a great transition he has made from the gridiron to the ring with the Halliburton.
Ladies either.
Oh, I would say so. The Halliburton, which has been his payoff for doing the Horseman. I would venture I would venture to say the money's not in there anymore. It's in the bank somewhere, but the Halliburton is still loaded and it's been used many times.
Who knows what's in that Halliburton? Bricks, sand, lead. Who knows?
I tell you what, those things are heavy now. It doesn't have to be anything to have the effect.
Oh, it's all aluminum. Can hurt your hair as good as a shovel.
All right, so we got a big tag team match here. We have the Faces of Fear, Ming, formerly known as King Haku in the promotion up north, taking on the Barbarian, another cast-off from the promotion up north, who a year ago was fighting for the world title against Ron Simmons. And they're taking on Steve Mongo McMichael, former United States champion. I'm not sure if he was at this point. And they're taking on Chris Benoit, former world television champion and future world champion, one of the 20 best wrestlers of all time. But of course, he's been blacklisted because he murdered his family and committed suicide. Very sad story. Of course, he was not in his right mind. His steroid use, other drug use, combined with his CTE, pretty much put him out of his mind, and was not responsible for those things that happened. They were horrific, of course, but it's hard to hold something against someone when they're not in control of themselves. So very sad, very sad circumstances, but sometimes horrible things happen in life, and there's no good or bad explanation. So we've got Mongo starting off against Ming, excuse me. Well, Barbarian, apparently. Benoit and the Barbarian starting off. Eric Tate says he should have got help. Yeah, definitely, I agree. When Eddie Guerrero died, it seemed like Chris Benoit just went off the deep end. They were best friends. And best friends in their steroid use as well. And when Eddie died, Benoit was never the same. And added his, his concussions and added to his drug use, and just totally went downhill. And I think if Benoit were around today, I think he would have gotten some mental help. But this is back in, whatever year it was, 2000, 2001, 2002. Mental health was not really seen as a priority for pro wrestlers. You're supposed to be tough and just deal with shit. So if it were today, yeah, maybe he would be alive and his family would be alive. But alas, they're not. So yeah, very sad. Very sad. One of my favorite wrestlers to watch still. So much intensity. Such crisp moves. Great wrestler. So it's a shame his reputation marred by tragedy and violence. And so if you're new watching us out there, we are at 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 41 seconds in Halloween Havoc 96. If you want to join us, we got Ming and the Barbarian versus Steve McMichael and Chris Benoit.
And what Michaels needs to do to protect himself is to break himself down in a football tackle that, well, if you're going to go for it, you need to be careful.
I think at some point tonight, I think K Fabulous will be joining us. We will see.
Chest stroke him right back. Get with a bill. Fine man. Oh, yeah. Take that sumo.
Are you joining us?
Yep.
Oh.
I have more grading to do after we're done.
I don't know how we're going to do this. I only have one camera, but we'll figure it out. Let me see how this works. K Fabulous is joining us momentarily here. If I can figure out how the fuck to add her. Like I said, I never ever use YouTube this way. So let's see here.
My phone's not charged, so we can just share it. I don't know.
Okay.
And the NWO in this building. That's what you got. You got it. And I'm going to
Kidding.
We do not need to have on a night where the NWO is in full force is for WCW people wrestling.
So just give me 1 minute to rejigger things, so we can welcome K Fabulous here. Be joining us momentarily. My co-hostess with the mostest.
And what transition Michaels has made, really, as you said, from the football field to the hardcore facts of life, right? What's going on right here? We've got to wait to make a tag.
Press the mind right to roll away, makes a tag, gets something off. You better believe he's fresh, and here he goes.
And ladies and gentlemen, here she is herself.
Hey.
She's not on the. She's a vampire. She's not appearing. Oh, she pulled the thing and she can't. Oh, now I see her.
Hey, guys.
K Fabulous joining us here for WCW Halloween Havoc 96.
Who's in the ring?
Well, so we've got the Barbarian and his partner Ming, of course known in WWF as King Haku. And they are taking on two of the Four Horsemen, Chris Benoit and Steve Mongo McMichael, former former NFL player.
It's Haku, not Haiku.
Well, it's Ming now, but
Yeah.
it is Haku. Yes. He is not named after a poem.
Huh.
He was Haku.
That's cool.
And we got kind of a plotting tag team match going on here. Nothing too interesting happening here after a night so far filled with some pretty excellent matches.
Yeah, I hate I missed the Jericho match.
Yeah. Yeah, so far we've had Dean Malenko win the World Cruiserweight title from Rey Mysterio Jr. Excellent match. We saw DDP beat Eddie Guerrero. Excellent match.
Oh my god. I was chasing that.
Rewind 89 says K is in Taz color. Yeah, we're both in orange tonight.
Got my Halloween Havoc shirt on.
How come WCW never had a woman ref? Great idea. Great question. WCW was really seen as the good old boys club, you know? And back in the day, that was just uncalled for. You know, WCW were women were valets, they were managers. That was about it. You know, no referees, no positions of power. Very rarely you see a woman, a woman's wrestling division. You know, you might see. Wow, that was quite a throw there. You might see Medusa in matches, sometimes against women, a lot of times against men. But yeah, WCW just did not take women seriously.
Thus the Nitro Girls.
And right, the Nitro Girls, right. So really seen as just sexual objects. Rewind says because it was the 1990s, WWE didn't really get a woman's Wrath until the 2010s.
Huh.
Yeah, so WCW just behind the times. But to be fair to them, they had an amazing roster of homegrown talent, former WWF stars, some of the best cruiserweights in the world, and frankly, the talent level, he says, sorry, ref, dyslexic problem. Ref, not wrath. I got you. That makes more sense. So WCW just had so much talent that really, to be honest, there wasn't much room for a women's division. They had such an amazing array of talent. There was no reason to put women on their shows, frankly.
Yeah, because I guess back then, I guess because of the lack of opportunity, their skill level wasn't as high. I'm assuming from like lack of chances to wrestle.
Well, and training.
And training,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the women's matches were just a joke back then.
But like when Wendy Richter was on WrestleMania, wrestling was good then.
No, now you're talking about WWF, not WCW.
No, I'm just talking about women's wrestling in general.
Two different companies.
I know, but I'm saying.
Bam! Swan dive headbutt by Benoit.
Time-wise, it's like they went backwards.
Is that it? That's it.
And then now women's wrestling is like amazing.
Yep. Oh, Conan comes out of the crowd here for some reason. And we have a Donnybrook. We have a Donnybrook going on.
Is he in the Filthy Animals still at this point?
No. This is several years before the Filthy Animals existed.
Oh, okay. Which year is this? I don't know.
This is 1996.
Okay. I was in 6th grade. 6th/7th. This is when the world's greatest band, Hanson, appeared on the scene.
Kevin Sullivan came out of the crowd and is beating McMichael with the Halliburton case. And I believe we're seeing maybe the formation of the Faces of Fear. We have Ming, the Barbarian, Jimmy Hart, Big Bubba, Conan, Kevin Sullivan. Just destroying the Four Horsemen here. So the real question, where's Ric Flair? Where's Arn Anderson? Arn Anderson had to leave injured. Ric Flair, as we know, injured. So, yeah, I don't know who's going to save them. And there, of course, is Woman, Kevin Sullivan's ex-wife, Chris Benoit's current wife.
How many jackets do you think Jimmy Hart owns?
Upwards of 50, I'd say. A lot of jackets.
So he wears repeats sometimes?
Occasionally.
Yeah. I just love them. It's like Rick Rude's gear, you know?
Yeah, I love them.
But in jacket form.
Kevin Sullivan showing off his impressive physique in the wife beater. So who's coming to save these bastards? The four horsemen usually don't make too many friends. Oh, somebody just had a comment and I missed it.
Oh, here, I can pull it up on my phone.
I'm sorry, these comments, they come on differently than when we use StreamYard. They come up and then go away. So don't think I'm ignoring you. Just if I'm watching the match, if I don't see it out of the corner of my eye, I don't see it. So
Eric Tate said I was 23 that year and now I'm 51, LOL. And Rewind said I was 7 and in the first grade in 96, 97.
There we go. So Rewind, were you watching wrestling at this point when you were 7? Well, they beat the shit out of the Four Horsemen and no one came to help them.
Let me see if my math is right
Now here's Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
WCW, nothing. 2 down and 2 to go. And next on the list is a match for the World Tag Team titles. Soon to be.
Is he like hosting this?
He's the NWO host there with Vincent
Yeah, sure.
to his left.
We lost him this year, didn't we?
We did,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Ever since the NWO has arrived on the scene,
I loved him. He was so
we
funny.
have not failed one time to deliver when we said we were going to do something. We zero in and we go and we do it. There are going to be a lot of guys waking up tomorrow from the night going, I'll get him next time. I'll get him next time. Well, we don't need a second time or a third time. We get it done the first time. And tonight, Harlem Heat, it's going to get real hot. And you're next on the hit list. So without any further ado,
So Rewind says, yeah, he was in love with it. Hey, Steven's joining us.
Oh, nice, Steven. Welcome.
And Eric Tate says, I'm old now. LOL.
Us too, Eric.
We're getting
Us
up there.
too. Yeah, so we still watch the current things like AEW, Ring of Honor, a little TNA, a little independent. None of that other federation. Here comes Scott Hall.
Mostly AEW, though.
Mostly AEW, yeah. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash challenging for the World Tag Team titles from Harlem Heat here tonight.
Steven, we are watching Halloween Havoc 96. And if you want to join us on your Peacock, we are at 2 hours and 24 seconds.
Yep. Right at the beginning of the Outsiders versus Harlem Heat. 2 hours and 33 seconds now.
There's always something going on. There's always a plan.
I think they realize here, and I think what they realize is the fact
Oh, he said he just got done watching NXT's Halloween Havoc.
Ugh. How was that? Shucky, shucky, quack, quack. I don't know what that means.
I also don't know what that means. I like it, though.
So yeah, good show so far. Once again, Dean Malenko won the Cruiserweight title from Rey Mysterio Jr. DDP beat Eddie Guerrero. Excellent match. The Giant of the NWO beat Jeff Jarrett by DQ when Ric Flair interfered. Six of the NWO beat Chris Jericho. Lex Luger beat Arn Anderson by submission. And Steve McMichael and Chris Benoit of the Four Horsemen beat the Faces of Fear, Ming, and the Barbarian. Best match of the night so far. Gotta be Rey Mysterio versus Dean Malenko, the opener.
So Steven says it's a Booker T saying on NXT. And Rewind said, well, thanks, guys. I have to get up early tomorrow for work. Have a good night, guys. Thanks again.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Rewind. We love having you and joining us in the chat. And reminding us that Taz is the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah, he commented my orange shirt for Taz time. So yeah, let's see how many matches we got left here. We got the tag title match. We got the world title match.
I thought Sherry was dressed like olive oil for a minute. Like she finally looked like there was someone in a Halloween costume, you know? She's dressed like she lived in the Old West. / is wearing a double Halloween costume dress.
So yeah, this is it, folks. We've got this World Tag Team title match, and then we have our main event. Hulk Hogan defending the world title against the Macho Man Randy Savage. So 2 matches left here.
Eric Tate is asking, do you play video games on your channel?
On my channel, not yet, but that is something I am going to start doing soon. My favorite wrestling game, personally, is WCW NWO Revenge from 1998. Here he says, in NXT promoting ECW Arena November 6th, competing with Dynamite. But yeah, I will start broadcasting some wrestling video games. Like I said, WCW NWO Revenge, for my money, the best wrestling game of all time. Of course, there are a lot of other great ones, but for me, just the roster, the feel of it, the presentation, the sets, just perfect. Perfect game. Bully Ray getting involved wrestling-wise, says Steven Chambers. I think he's talking about the NXT versus AEW battle. Yeah, just a huge roster on WCW NWO Revenge. My only complaint is no creator wrestler. But that's a very minor complaint because that game is perfect. And I don't say that about many video games at all. But yeah, I will put that on my channel. That's a lot of fun. And may do some of the other wrestling games.
Ooh, we could play AEW Fight Forever together.
AEW Fight Forever, yes. I love that game. I know I'm in the minority, but I love that fucking game. I think it's fantastic.
I love it. I get to be Thunder Rosa, and that's awesome.
And I may end up buying the WWE game. I've heard a lot of good things about it. And just has so much to it. It's like a dream game. It's like the game that I wanted to exist 25 years ago, and it's finally here. So I may pick that one up.
You can buy a used copy. We're not giving our money to them. Oh, Steven Chambers says, No Mercy, best game.
Yeah, I know most people would say that the 2K24 is so fun. That's what I've heard. I haven't played it yet. But everyone says that. Yeah, No Mercy, best game. I know a lot of people say that. For my taste, not as good a roster as Revenge. Of course, you have the storylines, you have the creator wrestler. Those are big deals. But No Mercy, just the reversal system, just a pain in the ass to me. Makes too many reversals, makes the matches seem really unrealistic to me. And yeah, that's my main gripe with No Mercy. But another very good game. Very good game.
It says create a character.
Yeah. I mean, great part of the game.
My favorite game is Skyrim.
Well, we're talking about wrestling games.
I don't have a favorite wrestling. Well, I guess AEW Fight Forever is my favorite because it's the only one that I play. But my favorite video game is Skyrim. It's awesome.
Well, this week I'm going to buy the DLC for Fight Forever that I don't have. Several wrestlers, several locales that I don't have, and be able to enjoy it again.
Ooh, that was an awesome kick.
Haven't played it in months, but I love that game, Fight Forever. Very underrated. Not perfect by any means, but very fun. My favorite wrestling game, personally, since No Mercy, is Fight Forever. And then my favorite arcade wrestling game, no doubt, WWF WrestleFest from 1990, 1991. I still have an arcade board of it somewhere, even though I don't have a working arcade machine anymore.
Do you not have NBA Jam?
I do have NBA Jam. I have several games that I have no way to play them.
I meant the arcade machine.
Yes, but it doesn't work.
Oh,
do you have PS4 or 5? I can't play a PS5. It gave me a panic attack. Thank God I can still play PS4. Why'd it give you a panic attack? Steven says, I'm pinball fan, WWE, WrestleMania, and Royal Rumble. I am a pinball fan.
I am also a pinball
Amazing. I love it. I love it. It's great. I haven't played Royal Rumble in many years, but I did play the WWF WrestleMania game that came out several years ago, and I thought it was fantastic. I actually used to own an arcade and used video game store myself, so I've owned probably close to 20 pinball games. My favorite probably being Monster Bash, The Addams Family, Cactus Canyon. I could go on and on. Ghostbusters, but those are some of my favorites. I love pinball.
My favorite is Batman 66, and I also like Medieval Madness because it's super fun, and Monster Bash. Our first date was to go play pinball.
Need to find Michael Myers' Halloween pinball game. Yeah, I've not seen that one in person.
Mm-hmm.
It's made by one of those companies. You know, I found that those companies are not Stern or Jersey Jack. The games just are not as good, in my opinion. I did enjoy the Godfather game. It's very tough. I have enjoyed that, a newer game. Great presentation on it. I thought the Wizard of Oz game was great. I like Dialed In from Jersey Jack. I think they're doing a great job. I think they're much better than Stern right now. But Stern is putting out some very good games, but Jersey Jack is putting out some great games. Yeah, anytime you want to talk pinball,
Yeah.
let's talk pinball. I love it. Love it.
I didn't like Dialed In that much.
Didn't like what?
Dialed In that much.
Oh, I loved it.
For a Jersey Jack game, it's just not one of my favorites. What I want to play is the new Alien pinball. I've seen video and photos of it, but I've not seen it in person. I want to play it so bad. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. That sucks. Like the lights on like the console? Is that what you mean? Or like on the controller, or just the way it came on your television? With the PS5? We had one briefly when they first came out. But when Asa had his back surgery, we sold a bunch of our systems. And I used to have a PS4, but when we got married, he had more games that were digitally purchased on Xbox, and so I switched from PlayStation to Xbox, although I still strongly prefer PlayStation because their controllers are better for my hands. Oh, on the TV. I'm sorry, Eric, that sucks.
What?
He was saying that the lights of the PS5 were so bright, that's what was giving him panic attacks.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But yeah, the systems we have right now, I used to have an amazing video game collection. As they say, need to go to Gatlinburg. There's a huge pinball arcade place. Charge $15 to get in and play all day. Give you a bracelet. That's cool. There's a place in Clemens that has a good assortment of pinball. What's it called?
Arcade on the Square or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
In Clemens, North Carolina. Very good lineup. And in Greensboro, North Carolina, there's a place called the Boxcar. Another very good pinball lineup and retro arcade game lineup.
There's also one in Durham.
And there's one is it Durham or Raleigh?
It's in Durham.
In Durham, there's another one. I can't vouch for that. I haven't spent a lot of time there. But the one in Greensboro, I can definitely vouch for.
The one in Raleigh Durham used to have Safe Cracker. It's like one of my favorite games. And I got the token from it, and it was very exciting, but then it was just a regular video game arcade token, and that was a little bit of a bummer. It wasn't like the special ones that go with the game.
Yeah, we love pinball. Maybe we'll do a pinball episode sometime. We don't have a lot of wrestling pinball to talk about. As they said, we have Royal Rumble, we have WrestleMania. Is that it?
I don't know of any other ones.
I think that's it. But
Well,
we could review those. So
There is the special edition Matt Hardy pinball game that his wife had made for him.
Okay, well.
I counted it exists. He has like his own game modes and stuff, and all of it has to do with his career. It looks freaking awesome. It's like the coolest gift I've ever seen a wife give a husband. Yeah, I love that Batman 66 game. It's just so fun. And like what's it called? DMD screen? What is it called when it's not just like dot matrix? Like the television?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I like the video screen.
I prefer games.
66.
I prefer games with the DMDs. I don't like the more complicated pinball gets, the less I like it. You know, personally, I like the 80s games and the 90 through like 97 games the best, where the rules were a little complicated, but just complicated enough to where you could understand what the fuck you were doing.
I like when they keep track of what objectives you've met. And, like, that's the primary display, you know? To let you know, like, if you have to hit all these letters in some word, like, what letters you have left and stuff, or how many more times you need to do something to engage a mode. Because, like I said, there's so much going on now, it's hard to keep track of everything in your head.
My favorite pinball game that I owned, I'll tell you, the first one that I owned was Batman 89 by Data East. And that was fun. Fun game. I loved it. I was so happy to have a pinball game. My favorite one that I ever owned was either the Addams Family, Indiana Jones, the first one by Williams.
Oh, with the guns?
Yeah. Dirty Harry is a great fucking game. People sleep on that, but that game's amazing. Doing retro here, I have Kiss Arcade game for the PS1. There you go. I left something out. What did I leave out? Scott Hall sexually assaulting Sherry there. And Butt to the Face by Booker T.
He can jump really high.
Yeah, he's the
Kick
shit.
really high. That's awesome.
Yeah, Booker T is fantastic. But yeah, the best games I owned were Addams Family.
What about, you said you forgot one. What about Ripley's Believe It or Not? Didn't you own that?
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh.
Addams Family, Johnny Mnemonic. Twilight Zone. Indiana Jones from 1993. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Those were my favorites that I owned, I would say. And I'll tell you the one, when I ran an arcade, if you want to look it up, it's called, there's a neat little thing on YouTube called Gamers of the Lost Ark, which shows me pretty much at the beginning of my video game store / arcade, if you're interested. I tell you, the pinball that made the most money by far, Super Mario Brothers by Gottlieb. I guess because people just knew the theme. Everyone knows Mario. But it was, while we had it in the store, it was the worst pinball we had, but by far the highest grossing pinball we had. So go figure on that. So we kept it far longer than it should have been there, because it was a big money maker. Yeah, love pinball. Used to have several in the house. Oh, fuck, Metallica is an awesome game. Jesus Christ, that game's great. Yeah, used to have several in the house, several in the arcade. Ended up selling them all, living off of the proceeds for about a year and a half. And now I have no pinball games.
But we have Pinball Arcade.
Yeah, we have Pinball Arcade, which I would highly recommend. Well, it's tough. On Xbox One, you cannot buy the Bally Williams tables anymore, unfortunately. But you can buy some of the Gottlieb and other companies' tables. But if you have a PS3, there's a Williams Greatest Hits pinball game that I would highly recommend. Fantastic representation of those classic games. And again, it's called Pinball Hall of Fame. And that's also available for the 3DS, just in a scaled down version, but you're playing pinball in 3D.
You said for the PS3?
Yes, and also for like Xbox One, check out the Stern Pinball Arcade. It has some good games. So you get the Williams Greatest Hits on PS3 and the Stern Pinball Arcade on like PS4 or Xbox One. You're pretty well set. You'll have a good little lineup of great games. And the company that made those just obviously loved pinball. They did a great job. And the Outsiders just won the World Tag Team titles.
We don't have that Williams game. We should get it. We have a PS3.
We have every game that's on the Williams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's on the Williams game. But yeah, now what do we have? We have the Xbox One, the PS3, the Super NES Mini, the NES Mini, the Sega Genesis Mini, and we have a console that plays about 95% of the games from the 70s till about 1996.
Tiny Nintendo.
Tiny Nintendo.
Oh, and you have your NES upstairs.
And I have a real, actual Nintendo. So that's what we have left. So our biggest, newest machine we have is Xbox One. And eventually I'd like to get one of the newer ones. And we have...
the Meta Quest.
Yeah, Meta Quest 2, which I love. It's amazing. And...
I remember when you first tried that, you like couldn't believe it. And you were like, how has no one told me about this? Why aren't people running through the streets yelling about it? And he's totally right. It's like being on the freaking holodeck.
yeah, we gotta play it some more.
Yeah.
Really. And the Outsiders, new World Tag Team Champions. Good match there. Even though we talked about pinball the whole way through.
Oh my god. So, Steven says he played the Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses pinball games.
Oh, Guns N' Roses is awesome.
AC/DC. One of his favorite pinballs is Twister.
Oh, Twister's good. I used to have that game. Very fun. I love the theme. That's one of my favorite movies.
Is there sound clips from the movies?
There are sound clips. Everybody underground now! You hear that about 20 times per ball. And then there's a fan up top that spins. And then there's a magnet in the middle that catches your balls and just throws them everywhere.
You hate magnets.
I hate magnets usually, but they're fun in that game. Great game. Very underrated. Twister. I'll tell you, two other Sega games that are very underrated are Baywatch and Batman Forever. Great games. And while we're at it, a Data East game, Maverick, the movie with Mel Gibson. Fantastic pinball game.
He says he likes the multi-ball in
Twister. Yeah, Twister's a great game. Here's Hollywood Hogan with his hair.
What the fuck is up with his hair?
It's his new hair.
Where did he buy it?
Haircut that Sting used to have.
No, it's not Hogan.
I didn't realize he got hair plugs.
It's Hollywood.
He got it for some movie he was shooting.
Is it Santa with muscles? He has hair on that.
Maybe.
Maybe those are just nerve ends.
We have to do a watch along for that. Come Christmas time.
Yes.
I see he played the Dark Knight pinball, so.
What?
Dark Knight pinball.
Not a fan of that one.
I like The Walking Dead.
Santa with muscles!
Oh! I called it!
Yeah, we will do, around Christmas time, we will do Days Gone a Good Game. We will watch Santa with Muscles during Christmas. We'll do a watch along for that. So get ready, buy it, rent it, whatever, in December. It's terrible, and we're going to do a watch along for it, starring Hulk Hogan as a man who thinks he is Santa with muscles.
After getting amnesia. So he like really thinks he's Santa.
Yeah,
And here we go with our main event.
Must have used a half a gallon of Rogaine.
all right, we do understand that Hall and Nash have been escorted out of the building due to an altercation with Doug Gellinger and WCW personnel. So they're out of here. They're gone. Take the titles with them, and let's go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Slim Jim WCW Halloween Havoc. And the featured match of the evening. This match is sanctioned by the WCW, the NWO, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Your referee assigned is Randy Anderson. This is for the undisputed heavyweight
Steven Chambers says, say your prayers, take your vitamins, watching Santa with muscles, brother. And then Eric is asking how come WCW pay-per-view was never made on DVD.
That's a good question. They're like like this era of WCW, this was before everyone had DVD. And by the time that they started going out of business in the 2000s and people started getting DVD players, especially like PlayStation 2s, they didn't have the money to put shit out on DVD. So that's why, unfortunately, yeah. So if you want them, you better tape them off the network before they're gone, which is what I'm going to do with a lot of them.
Or by bootlegs.
Or buy the tapes, which are ridiculously expensive in most cases. But so I would recommend just set up a camcorder, set up your WCW, and just put it somewhere where you can be quiet and there's no animals or anything. Just be quiet and tape the shit. That's my recommendation.
Do people still have camcorders?
Because the wrestlers taking their money can't afford it. Well, you set up your phone in front of the TV and then you record it onto your phone and then you put that on your computer.
I gotcha.
So at this point, Hollywood Hogan had the world title about 3.5 months at this point.
Who did he get it from?
Where the fuck did he get it from?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking. They got rid of that giant inflatable?
That was before the giant inflatable.
Oh.
Macho Man, baby.
He gets an A+ for outfit effort. Steven says, remember back in the day, I recorded WCW pay-per-views on VHS.
There you go. Okay, excuse me. Hulk Hogan won the world title August 10th from the Giant at Hog Wild or Road Wild, whatever they called it at that point. Won it in August 10th, 96. So at this point, he'd had it for, about 2.5 months, not 3.5 months.
Whoa!
Defending against Macho Man Randy Savage, and here's his monster truck.
I think they said while you were doing it, I think they said the Giant is there.
What?
I think they said the Giant is there.
Yeah, the Giant already won his match against, who'd he beat? He beat Jeff Jarrett by disqualification.
Is that Paul White, the Giant?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Giant, then known as the Big Show, and now in AEW, I think he's still contracted with AEW, now known as Paul White. And the last time we saw him, he was getting body slammed onto the hood of a car by Powerhouse Hobbs. So who knows if and when we will see Paul White again. I'm sure we'll see him again.
I think he still does stuff with them. Like he talks about it on Twitter sometimes.
Talking to you, Hulk Hogan. Get your two goons, stooges, and bag carriers out of here so I can kick your ass.
Tell him, Macho.
See, I meant he was here like he's in the ring.
He's fine as long as he can hide behind the Giant.
Yeah, that's right. Randy Anderson, he's out.
And it's a point to make
Out. It's
that
right.
Randy Anderson is in there in charge of this match. Threatening to give it to him right here.
You know what he's doing? He's telling the Giant to go back. The Giant don't go back. He's going to give the match and the title to Randy Macho Man Savage.
Good.
Who's missing here, Tom?
Well, Miss Elizabeth is. You would think that so much is at stake, and she's so emotionally.
He says, Steven says, monster trucks, Hogan and Giant.
Yeah, the year before this, we saw a monster truck battle between Hulk Hogan and the Giant on top of Cobo Hall in Detroit, Michigan. And, God, I forgot who won. Maybe no one won, but maybe it was Hulk Hogan. And after the monster truck battle, they got out of their cars, and Hulk Hogan pushed the Giant off of the rooftop, apparently falling to his death, the Giant. But then he was able to show up for the main event, inexplicably. And I believe that's where he won the world title, the Giant. And then, of course, the Yeti showed up, who was a mummy, 7-foot-tall mummy, and who put Hulk Hogan in a bear hug and pretty much proceeded to dry hump Hulk Hogan. Very strange ending to Halloween Havoc 95. And if you want to see it, we did a watch-along with it. The Yeti, yes, Stephen Chambers. We did a watch-along for Havoc 95 last year, 2003. So you can watch it now, we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown, press play, and then it's just like you're watching it with us now. So yeah, check 2003 on YouTube for our Halloween Havoc 95.
2022?
What did I say?
2003?
2023 for our Halloween Havoc 95 watch-along.
I think our friend Dylan from Long Island Wrestling Podcast joined us on that one.
I think he did. Very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Long Island Wrestling Podcast is apparently gone.
Wait, what?
I need to contact Dylan. I was trying to, at him in something on X today, and I couldn't find it. And it didn't come up. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but Long Island Wrestling Podcast appears to be no more. Or they've changed their X name and I wasn't told. So we'll find out here soon.
I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, hopefully everything's okay with them. Yeah, very slow beginning here with Hulk Hogan avoiding Macho Man with all of his ability. And this, of course, is a rematch from the main event of WrestleMania 5 7 years earlier, where we saw the Macho Man lose the WWF World title to Hulk Hogan. It was an angle where Macho Man Randy Savage was very jealous about the attention Hulk Hogan paid Miss Elizabeth. So they had a fight. Savage was the heel, Hogan was the face, and Hogan won his second WWF World title at WrestleMania 5. So here we go. I'm not sure if they wrestled between then and now. And Hogan outside the ring, still stalling in this match.
WCW, what he's trying to do to the Macho Man Randy Savage. And Liz Brain, I'm telling you, there's a missing element here somewhere with Miss Elizabeth.
You talk about the millions and millions of fans all over the world that love this man. I managed against this man. When we had Hogan in trouble, I could look at the people, and you could see tears pouring down their face. You could see their faces turning red. They had sincere concern for this man's welfare, and he turned his back on everything. There's your man. There's your champion, Hulk Hogan.
He represented every attribute that you wanted to have, not only in the wrestling ring, but in life. Dedication, perseverance, heart, determination. Go for your goals. Never back down. And really, we have found out in the course of a year.
So this one, who are you for in this one, Kay?
I'm for Randy Savage, because fuck Hulk Hogan.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm texting Dylan, I'm sorry. I will be back in a second.
Yeah, fuck Hulk Hogan, who has definitely proved himself to be a racist. Or maybe just a really bad joker. Here, Jimmy Hart turned heel in 1995. And had the first family, which were basically a family of mid-carders and jobbers. But I like Jimmy Hart. A lot of charisma, a lot of nice jackets. We actually saw him give a short speech about 4 months ago at an AML independent show here in North Carolina. Seemed like a nice enough guy. one of the best managers of all time, no doubt. One of the most prolific managers of all time. Jimmy Hart with Kevin Sullivan. Not sure what you mean there, Steven. Yeah, Kevin Sullivan, another, man, just everything. Another of the best managers, another of the best bookers, another of the best wrestlers as far as just gimmicks and telling a story of all time. Kevin Sullivan, one of the most underrated figures in the history of professional wrestling. He could do it all and did it all well, knew how to do it all well.
What is he doing?
Oh,
Hulk Hogan. He had his hands out like this and was like squat kicking.
he's posing. He's showing off.
Very strange. Steven says it's a faction in WCW.
Steven said what?
It's a faction in WCW. Jimmy Hart with Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, the Dungeon of Doom.
Oh, yes.
I believe, yeah.
Oh,
No bones about it. Said it. But yeah, that may be something. He put, yep. That may be something we do a whole Hart Never Ages. Very true. I don't know what's up with that.
We've seen him multiple times recently, and yeah, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
So weird.
I mean, he seemed kind of old in like 1990. And that was 34 fucking years ago, and he looks about the same as then. Very strange.
And he was like singing when we saw him, and
True.
seemed full of energy still.
More energy than I have. I don't know.
Just thinking that.
I don't know the secret. I need to find it out.
It's cocaine.
Maybe it's cocaine. Kay said. Maybe.
No, I didn't.
Let's go get some cocaine.
What? No.
Maybe that's the secret.
I can't do cocaine. I take Adderall. That would kill me, I think.
No, you'd
Plus
be
it's
fine.
illegal.
It is the responsibility of the brave American to break the unjust laws in this country.
Oh! He pulled his hair off.
Savage took his toupee off and is donning it now.
Oh my gosh.
He has transformed himself into Hollywood Randy Savage in this battle between NWO and WCW.
This is my new favorite thing.
Savage under control. In control, I should say.
Eric's asking if we have a Facebook.
We do have a Facebook. I've not been using it very much, but I will be starting very soon. Just No Bones About Wrestling is what it is. I've used it very infrequently, but we're trying to expand things, so I will be using Facebook and Instagram much more often starting this week, actually. So yeah, keep an eye on Facebook and Instagram. X is where we put a lot of stuff. And of course here on YouTube. Yeah, Facebook and Instagram will be used much more regularly coming soon. And as I said, X always used by us.
Mm-hmm. I have a K Fabulous Facebook also.
Oh, there you go.
But I also use that somewhat infrequently. Usually I just like use it to follow local wrestling stuff. But I can start posting things. He said, look about Eric Tate.
All right.
Hold it.
That's about the hardest chair shot I've ever seen Hogan give.
Didn't he really not like Macho Man?
Correct.
Yeah. So
They did not care for each other.
maybe that's why.
But Hogan is also, he has a reputation as one of the safest workers in the history of pro wrestling. Let's see how light this chair shot is. No, not that light. Hogan strutting around. I tell you, if you weren't around then, I cannot express what a Randy was not a good face. What? I don't know about that. If you weren't around at this time, I cannot stress how big a deal it was for Hollywood Hogan to be working heel. Just amazing. Felt like we were in a different universe or something.
Eric, what state are you in? There's like a million Eric Tates on Facebook.
Here comes Miss Elizabeth, dressed kind of like Gloria Estefan.
I like it. I like all the fringe beading.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So I don't know what's going to go on here. They've been fighting over Miss Elizabeth for
Since
about eight years at this point.
He says Randy was not a good face.
Yeah, I disagree with that. Randy Savage is so beloved, so much charisma. Yeah, great face. I disagree with that. March 7th, 1973. I don't know what that is. Is that his birthday, I guess?
Oh.
Eric. Savage with a schoolboy. 2 count only. So yeah, so far in the WCW NWO matches tonight, the NWO is 3-0 against WCW. So will Hogan make it 4-0, or will Savage be the only WCW star to beat an NWO star? We will see.
Found him.
Oh, good.
I'm a detective.
Will he be able to rise up and get this thing?
Telling Liz to get over there, that's cost him now twice. Demanding that Liz get into his corner. Hogan! Ducking! Outside!
Kind of want to get a phone line for No Bones About Wrestling and have a phone line about rumors and things like that. Figure out some way to monetize it.
I understand.
Add a phone line.
Yeah, and
You get a free phone if you add a phone line, and then we can write off the phone line, and then we can use it for business only, and then put the day's rumors, the day's news on it, since we only do one show a week, and charge people a small amount to listen to it.
I would rather use it for us to be able to like ask people questions and have them like call and leave us messages and then share their thoughts. That's what
That's fun too.
the Talking Dead podcast I listen to does, and it's awesome.
I'd be for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you add a new phone, they give you a iPhone 16. And you get to write off your phone bill entirely. So it would be free. That's something to think about.
Okay.
Hogan, using Elizabeth as a human shield and a clothesline, takes down the Macho Man. Been a pretty good brawl here between Hogan and Savage. And we'll see who will come out on top. And if you're just joining us at this late hour, we are 2 hours, 42 minutes, and 53 seconds in.
So Steven says, here's your fact about Randy Savage.
Oh.
Before wrestling, he was an MLB player for the Cincinnati Reds.
I'm not sure if he was in the MLB. I could be wrong. I believe he was a minor league player.
Oh, like in that.
In the farm system.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong about that, but I believe I'm right.
I knew it began with an F. I said family.
What?
I was saying like the Cincinnati Red family of teams, but farm team is what I was meaning.
Cincinnati Reds system.
Yeah. Thought maybe they organized it like the periodic table into families, you know?
Hogan keeping a careful eye on the Macho Man, Ron. Well, as modest you live. And Hulk Hogan, leg drop time.
Haha.
His pending leg drop never before has he badmouthed a woman between the big foot and the leg drop in his career, and that cost him.
Yes. 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 Well, Savage has a little more.
Wait, is that Miss Elizabeth with him?
Still alive.
Yeah.
He's still got fight left in him. And look at Elizabeth does.
He just apparently got an object of some kind from Ted DiBiase, and Liz took it away
Yes,
from
I
him.
pointed it out several times. That is Miss Elizabeth. Elizabeth!
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Elizabeth! She was more commonly known. We got a fucking melee here. What do we got? Ted DiBiase wrestling with Miss Elizabeth on the outside. We got one ref down. Is this the NWO ref, Nick Patrick? Yes, we got another ref coming in. Danny Huckins, PW. What did you guys think about NXT Halloween Havoc tonight? Pretty solid show. We don't watch NXT, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad it was a solid show, but we don't watch that company. With the whole sex trafficking and rape and all that. That was the final straw. We don't watch that other big company or NXT. So
We do watch their old shows.
watch what?
We watch their old shows.
We watch their old shows,
Yeah.
but nothing current.
Yeah. Although we did say we were going to check out the NXT Halloween Havocs that have Chucky on them.
Correct.
But probably fast forward to the Chucky parts.
Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't, when we scheduled this, I had no idea we were up against the NXT Halloween Havoc. But also, I don't give a fuck. NXT HH was a short show. Oh, Halloween Havoc was a short show. Yeah, I think it was what, 2 hours, something like that. And this show comes in at almost 3 hours, and I guarantee you this is a better show than what NXT put on. I know very little about NXT, but what I do know is they train their guys and girls to put on matches that work within a bubble of NXT. And if they were put in any other situation, their matches and their abilities would not work. That's my opinion on NXT.
How do
So-
they move them up then? Because isn't that like a farm?
Well, because the WWE is cookie cutter also.
Oh,
They have
okay.
X type of matches, and if you don't fit in with that, they make you fit in with that. And if that's what you enjoy, fantastic. Not what I enjoy. And I loved WWF forever, but I just with a lot of with the quality of the product and the sexual assault and human trafficking and rape cases, allegations, and the child molestation accusations, I just cannot, in good faith, support WWE or NXT, so we don't watch it. So I'm glad it was a good show.
Which is why we're not buying that video game.
Yeah, we'll see.
Unless it's used.
And Hollywood Hulk Hogan with a pin.
Who laid his arm on him?
Mm-hmm. Who?
Yeah.
I think it was the Giant.
Oh, okay. Wait, so is that the NWO ref?
Yes, that is the NWRF Nick Patrick.
Is that the one I always say looks like the Eastbound and Down guy?
Kind of, yes.
He doesn't look like it so much here. Maybe earlier. When he had more of a perm.
You know, and I think, and of course we were watching.
I'm gonna get a perm.
But I do feel both these guys are out. I'm telling you. Nick, what is this?
It's really bad for your hair.
I don't care.
It's like putting your chemicals on your head and sitting under a heater.
I think I'm gonna get a haircut maybe tonight. What do you think?
Unbelievable. What a turn of events right
You can. I can't help you tonight though. I gotta grade stuff.
I saw a tutorial about how to give yourself a haircut online.
I watched the tutorial and that's how I cut my hair.
So,
Been cutting it that way since the pandemic.
Nick was a funny heel ref. Yeah, it definitely was. And if you look up Nick Patrick ref bump, you'll see the best ref bump in the history of pro wrestling. Just hilarious.
Not so sure what happened. But he is still the
Like
champion.
overselling.
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Nick, raise his hand. And why don't you raise Nick?
And Nick Patrick, his shirt open. Hollywood Hogan revived by ice water. Savage being drugged down the aisle by WCW personnel. The Giant saving Hulk Hogan. Hogan on the mic.
So Eric's asking, how come AEW can't have old WCW pay-per-view names? It's because WWE owns WCW.
Yeah, WWE owns
Owns the rights to everything.
everything having to do with WCW, yes.
I'm taking over the WCW. Everybody.
But they can have the themes. You know, we're about to see what Dynamite Fright Night
Hell yeah!
on Wednesday, which is kind of like Halloween Havoc, so that's cool. They did kind of a beach show, harkening back to Bash at the Beach.
Beach break.
Beach break, yeah. So we're seeing them kind of take on those things. You know, Blood and Guts is like War Games. So we're seeing them take some of the more popular WWF events and use them as their own. I got you about WWE. I can't read them. They go by too fast.
He says, I also watch AEW, but the creative has been dog shit in the last few months. TK is turning into VKM minus the allegations.
I disagree. Now, Tony Khan definitely seems to have no plan sometimes. I agree with that. And it's hard when you have a roster of fucking 200 people. Rowdy Piper. Let me answer that after this.
Is this when he first appeared?
In WCW, yes.
Out of nowhere, look at Hulk Hogan's face.
That's what man Hogan does not want to see. That's what man.
The Rowdy Scott himself.
Since he started in this business,
That's right, get behind the giant chicken.
he wants no part of Rowdy Piper.
And once again, WCW
My dog.
shut the world.
Once where they live, watch along.
Tell you, WCW was on fire at this point. Fucking fire.
So you're bored, are ya?
Eric, WWE owns Starrcade as a name also.
Break your monotony.
Eric says that year he was at WrestleMania 12, took on Goldust in the Backlot Brawl. Yeah, a classic match, fantastic match.
Jolly Green Giant and take a break.
That was Piper's probably second best WrestleMania match after the WrestleMania 8 match against Bret Hart.
There's a big lack of communication here because when I said that I made wrestling, when I said I own wrestling and I control wrestling, now that I really think about it, I remember that you and I were running neck and neck. Why don't you shut up for a second? It's my turn. I am not here to represent the WCW, the NWA, the SPCA, the SOB.
That'd be so awesome if he was there to represent the SPCA.
Yeah.
Be careful. Be real careful. Yeah, I made a lot of money being real careful.
Did he got fired in WWF that year? Roddy Piper? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if his contract ran up or if he got fired or what. I don't know. Remember, Piper stayed in Alcatraz prison looking like crap wrestling Hogan at a pay-per-view. Yes, I do. Stayed in Alcatraz, I forget how long, and training, and grew a beard, and went crazy. I forget what show that was for, but yeah, training his mind to get ready to face Hogan.
Was that when it was still open?
Huh?
That wasn't when it was still open. It closed earlier.
No, that was when it was still closed.
Yeah, yeah.
When it was closed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, let me have my piece because I'm shooting with this one, folks. I don't care, man. I'm a multi-millionaire too. I started fighting pro when I was 15 years old. I've had over 6,000 professional matches. I've been stabbed 3 times. Sit back, Sprout. Sit back. Wait a second.
Oh, Sprout. See, early learning tree.
That's Jolly Great Giant reference.
I don't know, but I can't remember what it called the. Oh, that was Sapling, not
The
Sprout.
fans back the NWO, I think is what Eric Tate
He
said.
said love.
What?
He said the fans love the NWO.
Oh yeah, they were the hottest shit going. But here the fans are definitely on Piper's side.
How can you not be on Piper's side?
Yeah.
Something, Piper. I'm gonna call.
I saw an interview Tony did a few months ago, and he said AEW isn't about long-term storytelling anymore. He likes booking. What was the rest of it?
He did a few months ago. He said that AEW isn't about long-term storytelling anymore. He likes booking week to week, which takes away a lot of the excitement from the product. And then Steven says Piper was released according to his book.
Ah, thank you, Steven, for straightening that out. And
I did not hear that about Tony Khan and long-term story booking. Like,
I heard him said that. Now, but we are seeing long-term booking in AEW now.
that's like the majority of the booking we see.
Correct. So I don't know if that was a quote from months ago, but or maybe Tony Khan has just turned a 180, or some of his creative people have helped him turn a 180. But we are seeing a lot of long-term booking in AEW now, and even if we weren't, I don't give a fuck, honestly. Now, I like angles in wrestling, but I like keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. You got a bad guy, you got a good guy. The bad guy does something, the good guy has to redeem himself. Bam, you got heat. Keep it simple. That's how it works.
No, but I like these like long-term feuds, you know.
I love long-term feuds. Yeah.
But even like bringing back Jericho's orange juice jacket from like 3 years ago. I like it.
1996 in WCW was like an old WWF. Yeah, definitely so, yeah. Except somehow, weirdly, they were able to book these guys as bigger stars than in WWF. I mean, with the exceptions of people like Savage, Hogan, and Piper. Otherwise, they were able to book these guys as bigger stars than in WWF. Not over a year, feuds like the Bloodline. Yeah, I think he's talking about AEW booking. Now, the Bloodline, I don't care personally. I don't give a fuck about it. But again, I don't watch WWE, so I'm not the best judge of it.
When we did watch it, I
gave
was
up.
so tired of it.
Yeah, so tired of it. But yeah, it wouldn't be nice to see more long-term booking in AEW. I agree. But if that's not how we're going, no, you don't need to be sorry. We don't always have to agree here, Steven. That's fine.
Yeah.
But
That's a good example.
Yeah, good example. But if we are just going week to week, great, because we are getting some great fucking matches out of it. So if I had to settle for no story and fantastic matches with Ospreay and Ricochet and a hologram and etc. Did you ever watch WWF Wrestling Challenge? Of course I did. Yeah, I loved it.
But I think like the BCC story, I always get BBC and BCC mixed up. The BCC
Well,
story.
BBC is Big Black Cocks.
What?
BBC.
British Broadcasting Channel.
Whichever you want.
Anyway, like seeing the evolution and de-evolution like of them, you know, like I feel like that's long-term storytelling.
I agree. And you got the Hangman and Swerve long-term storytelling. So we're doing some, not a ton. And it goes off the air with Rowdy Roddy Piper rambling
in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, so they didn't plan for that very well. So folks, El Hijo del Vikingo injured his leg at a TNT taping in Detroit, carted
TNA.
out on a stretcher. TNA taping.
And
I don't think it was a taping. I think it was a pay-per-view, but I could have been wrong.
Willow, he also said Willow got injured with a concussion in Mexico. That sucks.
That sucks. Yeah, El Hijo del Vikingo, one of my very favorites. As you see right here, I have a signed picture of him with his AAA Mega Championship belt. Love this guy.
I wonder if it was the same leg.
I don't know. I hope not. I hope he's
too.
healthy and he's going to be fine. But yeah, our friend Dylan was nice enough to give us this signed picture of El Hijo del Vikingo.
And that signed picture of
Yeah, the
Thunder
one
Rosa.
you can barely see of Thunder Rosa there.
Mm-hmm. Normally you can see it, but we're on one camera.
Yeah, very kind guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to go back through the pay-per-view just real quick, and then we're going to do our thing. Best match, worst match, total out of 5, Halloween decorations, Halloween costumes. What's the other? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. So real quick, I'm going to go back through things. The old WWF tape show for 4 weeks of taping. Yeah, that's how they did it back then, Eric. Made a lot of sense, saved them a lot of money for sure.
You can't do that with the internet though now.
No.
Spoiled instantly.
Yeah. All right, so World Cruiserweight title match. Dean Malenko won the belt from Rey Mysterio Jr. 5 bones out of 5. Tremendous match. Tremendous opener. Diamond Dallas Page beat Eddie Guerrero. Another terrific match. 4.5 bones out of 5. The next match, we saw the Giant of the NWO beat Jeff Jarrett by disqualification when Ric Flair interfered. It was a decent match, not too plodding, not too great, so 3.5 bones out of 5. Up next, we saw 6 of the NWO take on the Lionheart Chris Jericho. And 6 pinned Jericho after a fast count by NWO referee Nick Patrick. And this was another 5 bones out of 5 match. Wow. Excellent match.
Sounds like I missed a lot of good matches.
Yes, you did. Up next, we had former world champion Lex Luger take on 4 Horsemen Arn Anderson. And Lex Luger, a former 4 Horseman in his own right.
How many freaking people were 4 Horsemen?
A lot of people.
Huh.
And then Lex Luger beat Arn Anderson by submission to the torture rack. Good, kind of old school, slower style, but not boring. Just a slower style match. Luger beat Anderson 4 bones out of 5. So a pretty good start to the show. Up next, the Faces of Fear. That's Ming and the Barbarian. They took on Steve Mongo McMichael, future U.S. champion, and the Crippler, Chris Benoit, future WCW World Champion. And they were accompanied by Deborah McMichael and Woman, Chris Benoit's wife. And Benoit got the pin after a swan dive headbutt. This match really, it was okay. Wasn't much of anything. Faces of Fear weren't the best at selling. 3 bones out of 5. It was okay. If you like Benoit, it's worth watching. 2 matches after that, we had the WCW World Tag Team title match. Harlem Heat lost their belts to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, the outsiders of the NWO. Good tag team match. 4 bones out of 5. Good tag action. And your main event, the WCW/NWO World Title match, whatever you want to call it. Hollywood Hulk Hogan successfully defended his belt against Macho Man Randy Savage. Hogan pinned Savage after the Giant interfered. And that match, decent, nothing amazing. 3.5 bones out of 5. So your match of the night, I'm going to go with the opener. Dean Malenko winning the Cruiserweight title from Rey Mysterio Jr. Excellent match of the night for Halloween Havoc. So Kay, what's your best match? I know you missed a lot of the show. I know you missed a lot of the show. What's your best match?
Can I say what I think would be the best match had I seen it?
Okay,
I'm going to go with Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko.
that's fair.
Although DDP and Eddie Guerrero very close.
Very good match.
But I've never seen Mysterio and Malenko wrestle.
We should go
each
back
other,
and watch it.
I'm very interested.
Worst match.
Well, I'm stealing your book. I mean, I only saw two. So between those two, I'm going with a tag team title match.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in.
And let's go Halloween set dressing, Halloween decor. How did they do dressing up for Havoc 96?
I'm gonna give it 4 bones out of 5. Like, I loved the mausoleum fronts. I loved the Slim Jim with like the little demon guy that would eventually become inflatable. And also the use of pyro I felt like was good, and the fog. Nothing on the ring, which was a little disappointing. And I don't think I saw the announcers to know if they were like dressed up or anything, or their table was special.
Yeah, you didn't see the announcers much at all. That's a good point.
What about you?
All right, so what? Well, that's the decor, 4 out of 5 bones. So now Halloween costumes.
So can you answer? Was Sherry wearing a costume, a Halloween like witchy, like a devilly costume, or did she always dress like that?
I think a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she and Randy Savage were the only two that I saw wearing anything that could resemble a costume, except for Jimmy Hart, who is always in costume. So I'm gonna say 2 bones out of 5, because even just having 2 people in costume is more than some of the other Halloween Havocs, which had like 1 or no people in costumes.
All right, and finally your grade. And I know you missed most of the pay-per-view, but what's your grade out of 5 bones for what you did see?
3.
3 bones?
I saw 2 matches. Yeah, 3. There's a lot of like interference-y kind of things going on, and I don't care for that. I like just straight up wrestling.
Yeah, good, very good show up until the main events, when it got a little confusing with a lot of interference. I agree that's not what the fans wanted to see. They wanted Harlem Heat and outsiders, see who the best is. Hogan versus Savage, see who the best is. They didn't want to see a lot of interference.
Was there something like fishy about the Harlem Heat outsiders, and also?
Yeah.
Right?
I forget what it was, but somebody interfered. Maybe it was the Giant. But yeah, some NWO person interfered. Yeah.
So like that, having like interference causing the winner of 2 matches back to back, I don't care for that.
Yeah. And the NWO went 4-0 against WCW on this pay-per-view, so just domination there.
Steven has a good point. He says Sherry always wears a costume.
True.
So it might not be Halloween related, just Sherry. Eric's was the main event was boring.
Just a tad. Just a tad. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the 2 working together. I wouldn't say it was boring. It was plotting. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean they definitely took their time and built some stuff. But I could see how you would think it's boring. Yeah, for sure. But I just thought they built a good match with some good heat, getting the heat on Hogan, constantly running away from Savage, using the NWO interference, and the fans leaving wanting Savage as the world champion. So that's why I give it a good score. So let's see. Best match of the night for me, definitely Dean Malenko, the opener. Malenko winning the World Cruiserweight title from Rey Mysterio Jr. Just a fantastic match. Runner-up is Syxx beating Chris Jericho in another Cruiserweight match. Terrific match. Both of those, 5 bones out of 5 matches on this pay-per-view. Worst match, I got to give it to Steve McMichael and Chris Benoit defeating Ming and the Barbarian, the Faces of Fear. It was just kind of disjointed. Faces of Fear didn't sell enough. Mongo McMichael's not good at selling. Neither of the teams really flowed much as a tag team, and it just was a very average match. So that was 3 bones out of 5, and like I said, not a terrible match, but 3 bones out of 5. Can you do a watch along for WCW Saturday night? Sure, yeah, that would be beautiful. Let's do it. Let's put it on the. I'm gonna write it down right now, and we'll do one. Any particular year you'd like to see for Saturday night? That was, of course, before Monday Nitro came along. That was WCW's biggest show of the week. And then after Nitro and Thunder came along, it became WCW's 3rd biggest show of the week. So it's a weird history for Monday Nitro. And he says 1992.
Awesome.
So if I can find it on the network, yeah, we will squeeze it in and we'll do one. I used to love Saturday night. 6:05 Saturday nights.
And I've never seen it, so.
Oh, great show. Where was I? Best match, worst match. Halloween decor. Yeah, you had the guy holding up the big Slim Jim logo. You had the graves. You had the fog. Not much in the ring or ringside.
Mausoleums.
There were mausoleums. I'm gonna give it 3.5 bones out of 5 for the Halloween decor.
Mm-hmm.
He says 5:05 here.
Oh, for when the show came on.
Oh, 5:05 there. I see. Yeah, is he in Mississippi? Is that the one who's in Mississippi?
No, I think that was Eric, right? He's in like Missouri or something.
That was Eric.
Yeah.
He's in Missouri.
Yeah,
Oh,
Steven's
okay.
the one that's in Mississippi.
5:05 there. Okay, 6:05 here. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for the Halloween decor. For the Halloween costumes, as Kay said, the only people who really had costumes were Macho Man, Sherry. Was that it?
Well, I didn't see the rest of the show, so I don't know.
I think that might have been it. Yeah, really let me down as far as having some nice Halloween wrestling costumes. I'm gonna give it 1.5 bones out of 5 for the wrestling costumes.
Especially like there were multiple valets and managers. They can't wear costumes.
Yeah.
Like the woman and Miss Elizabeth, like get it together.
Elizabeth!
Some costumes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both dead now. That's real sad.
Who?
The woman and Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah. Who all's dead?
That's not a fun game. Let's not play that.
Eddie Guerrero. Steve McMichael may be dead. Chris Benoit dead. Scott Hall dead. Macho Man Randy Savage dead. Rowdy Roddy Piper dead. Sensational Sherry dead.
Colonel
Miss
Parker.
Elizabeth dead.
Colonel Parker's dead, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't know about Colonel Parker. So that's sad.
Sold.
So like 1/3 of the roster from 1996 dead. That's very sad. So now my overall rating for the show, the undercard was, this happened a lot with WCW, where the undercard would be fire, and then the last few, McMichael's still with us with ALS. Okay, my bad. I know he's in very poor health, so I'm glad he's still with us, and hopefully he can make a recovery. That would be what?
ALS, you can't. I don't think you can recover from that.
Well, who knows?
Isn't that Lou Gehrig's disease?
I don't know.
It is.
So maybe he can recover. I don't know how those things go. I know sometimes miraculous things happen in medicine. So we'll see. Hopefully, maybe he can live a better life. Steven says yes, no cure for that. So that's terrible. But people bounce back from all sorts of things in reality. Infinitesimal chances, but you never do know. All right, so my rating out of 5, as I was saying, the a lot of times WCW, the undercard was fire, and then the top of the card would get kind of overbooked, and we saw that here with the Outsiders winning the world title, Hulk Hogan keeping the world title, Rowdy Piper coming on, giving a speech that got cut off by the pay-per-view. So overall, 2 5-bone matches, a 4.5-bone match between Eddie Guerrero and DDP. I'm gonna give this show 4.5 bones out of 5. Very enjoyable. The only match that wasn't really enjoyable was Ming and the Barbarian taking on Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael. Just nothing much there.
Looked like a mess.
It was a little of a mess.
Like, I can't really tell you what happened because it was just like a messy blur.
Yeah. But yeah, great show. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us live right now, whether you're watching us taped in the future. Thanks for joining us very much, and we love you. We appreciate you. And coming up, and again, we have weird schedules going on. So again, if things get changed, if days get changed, I apologize in advance. But we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants the next 2 or 3 weeks here. So I'm going to try and give you the schedule the best I can. Tuesday night, 7 p.m., AEW Weekly. We cover all the happenings in All Elite Wrestling. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's on YouTube. What else? Saturday, we may do a Collision watch-along. We will see. If there's not a World Series game Saturday, we will do a Collision watch-along.
What about
And
Wednesday?
Wednesday, I know there's a World Series
okay.
game, so we will not be doing a Dynamite watch-along. As I said, Saturday, we may be doing a Collision watch-along. And then, of course, next Tuesday, back to AEW Weekly, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Tuesday nights. And as Halloween approaches, we have, 4 days left. We may have some surprises for you. We've got to sneak them in real quick. But we've been talking about doing a live watch of They Live, starring Roddy Piper. So maybe find a copy online, rent it, buy it. I would just suggest buy it. It's one of the finest pictures ever made. John Carpenter directed, Roddy Piper stars. But I think we're going to do a watch-along of that, and I'm going to try my best to do one more watch-along of a WCW Halloween Havoc this year. So busy week this week for both of us, so we'll see what happens. And all this that I just said, all this calendar, all this schedule, I'm going to put up on X, hopefully on Facebook and on Instagram. Kay, you have anything to add?
Nope.
All right. Everybody, for Kay Fabulous, this is Asa signing off for No Bones About Wrestling. I will see you before then, God willing. And if I don't, then I wish you a happy Halloween. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you watching this late, thank you for catching it and joining us late as well. And have a wonderful night.